All right. Team number 1 here. We got Voodoo as the green Protoss in the top left. And his teammate down in the bottom left. Ziki, the Hungarian Dragon, the BSL Pro League player. You guys should know who this is. He's got such good Mutalisk control, just good micro in general. He's well suited to 2v2. And they're going to be up against, in the bottom right here, it's going to be Moonlight as the Zerg. And he's going to be playing alongside his teammate in the top right, Kiss, as the red Protoss.
So it might be a little hard to follow here, guys, but you can just remember that just a straight line down the middle. Everybody on the left side is on one team. Everybody on the right side is on the other team. We'll try to keep that in our minds here because it's a little bit hard to tell visually.
Do shift tabs. Make them blue versus red.
Doesn't work.
Oh, you...
We had some technical difficulties earlier. We had to open this up in single player mode because the replays just literally would not load. So, you know, just Blizzard things. We're in single player mode. The colors are just going to have to be like this, guys. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's cool. And both Zergs going for pool gas here. It's not too strange. Although it is a overpool into gas, so a little bit more economically centric. They don't want to put on too much aggression, it seems. I imagine both Protoss players will go for the 2-gate in the opening, though.
Overlord's giving a little kiss here on the cheek as they go by, and gonna get a nice little scout in each other's base. From what I know from 2v2, getting the scout on the Zerg is the most important, figuring out what they're up to. So
absolutely,
both sides seeing exactly what's happening in the early game. Gonna be kind of important here. And actually, Kiss gonna bring a probe over, try to get a little harassment going. He sees the lings are popping out here soon. He's got to bail.
Yeah, I think that this is to optimize for Mutalisks, what they're doing. I think that both players want to just get as many mutas out as possible. And I think that's why that we see a quick lair from both sides. No ling speed here. We're probably going to have a very defensive game. And even a Sunken Conley coming out from Moonlight right off the bat. So super safe. And if Ziki can get away with not having to make a Sunken, that's actually going to be a big deal.
Yeah, he sacks a drone, but he built one more. Actually, he's going to build several more drones. So going a far more economic style.
Yeah.
Maybe wanting to throw down a second hatchery here in a moment.
Possibly.
But he's not going to be able to help his pal here over in the top right.
That's
Kiss is going to be under some pretty strong pressure right now. He does have 3 zealots on the ramp, but 2 players can actually break up this. I don't know. I think he might be okay here with double gateway.
Yeah, I think the thought process from the teams here is, okay, the Zergs are close together, which means they're cross-mapped to the enemy Protoss, so the Protoss is a little bit more safe than usual. So it seems like Team Ziki and Voodoo want to put on some pressure, especially seeing that, you know, there's a little bit of a safety sunken from Moonlight. Knows there won't be too many early aggressive units coming his way, but there are a pair of Zerglings making their way to the base of Ziki while he's throwing down the Spire. It's the link speed just now about to finish up for Moonlight, so we'll have a little bit of map control. I think he's actually waiting for link speed to finish before he tries to run in there. But I'm not sure they'll have too much success in breaking up this ramp. I guess they just want to maybe rotate around to the Zerg. Seems like the Protoss is making its way towards Moonlight. And Kish kind of checking on things, pokes out, sees that there's no Zealots here. So I'm wondering, is Voodoo going to get away with just running these Zealots all the way into the main base of Moonlight? The Zerglings are a little bit out of position. They just now spot them.
Yeah, this is the fear here. That they'll both go for the Zerg player. Both players diving in on Moonlight. This could be pretty bad for him, but he's buying a little bit of time, dragging away some of these Zealots and Lings as well. It's just, that's quite a force that's coming down towards him. He actually turns around. All right, Kiss going up in towards the top left here. He'd be able to get up in there. Let's see.
He's gonna get in. I mean, it's going to take a long time for Voodoo Zealots to get back to the main base to defend against this. Zeki's trying to hold the ramp to stop the Zerglings getting in, but he kind of has to also distract these Zealots. Bit of a weird situation. We got a 3-gate Goon coming out from Voodoo. It's also Dragoon tech being done on Kiss's side of the map as well. Not the best of probe drills, and killing a few of those. Dragoon's starting to help out defend against that. Both players have mutas now. But this is a lot of damage done to Voodoo already. Like, even though he's not lost a lot of probes, he's lost a lot of mining. This isn't super optimal, and his Zealots have only just now gotten back to his base, and now they need to go back out on the map again. Already Zeki finding a Moonlight in the skies. 2 Zerglings do come in, catch a drone kill, trying to find a second. They do get 2 drone kills. It's a pretty big deal. Zeki does do a good job in the air for a temporary moment, but more and more Mutalisks coming in from Moonlight. He's starting to dominate in the air against Zeki. Zeki's in a bit of trouble.
Looks like a few more mutas pop out there at the end, but not enough to win this fight. Another muta joins the fray here from Moonlight. He's dominating. Gonna kill one more muta. One more pops out here, but it looks like Moonlight just gonna take this, and they're winning on both sides. The Protoss side is winning, as well as the Zerg side, so it's looking like a victory here for our right side 2v2 team. Oh, chasing down some mutas. He overstayed a little bit here. Can Zeki start to swing things? He gets the moving shot going, and the high ground advantage over here for the Dragoons is working out all right, but
Wow.
Is he actually? He's actually gonna win this fight. That's crazy. He was so far behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Moonlight will just barely hold on as more and more viewers. It's just so insane that the tempo flips between both sides. Like, first it was Moonlight's mutas that were all softened up, and Zeki popping out a pair of Scourge, zoned them out, and managed to get the chase micro on them. Now the reverse has happened. Zeki's mutas were low HP, and Moonlight chased them down. So, yeah, kind of insane. Both Zerg players more or less on the same amount of drones, but there's definitely a superior Dragoon count for Kiss that's taking advantage, even catching a Dragoon on the exit up to the safety of that ramp. He won't be able to break Voodoo anytime soon, but Zeki is like operating on fumes right now. Does catch a muta with one of his Scourge to Zeki. Pretty good muta control all around, but he is behind in the drone count now. 9 drones for Moonlight versus 6 for Zeki.
Yeah, this is going to be a really hard comeback if these 2 players manage to turn things around. It would be incredible. I think that Moonlight actually rallied some mutas up towards helping Kiss or something like that, because we saw 3 mutas come back during that last fight. And I'm not sure exactly where they were on the map. I can imagine needing them anywhere else, but it seems like he changed the rally or something, was able to overcome Zeki's mutas in the end. 4 mutas and a couple of Scourge moving across. We got 4 mutas here, or 2 mutas here and 4 Scourge. Plus 2 spores, though, makes me a little bit worried. 2 spores is pretty nasty. Very hard to just straight up win. And even if he loses in the air, like, I mean, I guess he manages to catch up a little bit. It's just, you're kind of wide open here. A couple of Lings can slip in, maybe a Zealot or something like that. Oh, an Overlord goes down to some Dragoons. Looks like he's going to block the ramp and send a few Dragoons to try and win the fight against these mutas, in combination with the mutas of Moonlight. All right, jumping on top of this now. Ling's gonna go to work here. Not really gonna go too well for Kiss, but maybe he put enough damage there to help Moonlight win this. Oh my gosh, the micro from Zeki, a little bit too good, and actually he swings this fight completely, turning this game on its head.
Yeah, he's also got +1 attack upgrade on his mutas, does Zeki. DTs have come out from Voodoo as well, forcing the Dragoons to evacuate. Suddenly, Voodoo can come out onto the map, and there is no Overlord nearby to help out with this. Are they going to turn this game around very quickly? Seems like that might be the possibility. Moonlight does have that 1 spore in the mineral line to defend against the counterattack of Zeki. It was a nice idea from Kiss to come with the 3 Dragoons out on the map to snipe the Overlord in the main base of Ziki and kind of allowed the tempo to stack up for Moonlight, so it was harder to squeeze out more and more Scourge and Mutas, but it didn't help out enough. And suddenly, Kiss is the one holding the high ground defensively, while Ziki starts to harass the main base of Moonlight.
Not sure why this Sunken Colony was made. I think it would have been better as a Spore. You really need to defend this gas, and if Ziki takes over this position, starts to bounce glaives off the gas, it could be really, really bad. And now the Dragoons have arrived. I think the writing is on the wall here for Moonlight, and there's nothing that Kiss can do because of the DTs. This might be just GG, guys. Zerg player's going to go down.
I mean, he made the Sunkens to worry about the Dragoons because he knew that Kiss couldn't come and help him with the DTs kind of having the map control. But yeah, you're right, he still doesn't have a good enough Spore coverage. It doesn't really matter. It's almost impossible to make the Spores and the Sunkens in good enough positions to not be circumnavigated in this situation. Kiss is just going to try and run across the map anyway to help out, despite the 2 DTs slapping away at them. We do have Overlord speed for Moonlight now to kind of give some vision to deal with that, but he's going to lose his lair. This is insane. What a turnaround for Team Ziki and Voodoo here. They've really clinched this game. Like, they're back from the dead.
Yeah, this is a pretty incredible turnaround for sure. I thought that Moonlight basically had it in the bag when we saw 6 versus 3 mutas in Ziki's base, but somehow Ziki managed to hold on long enough, even with the Dragoons of Kiss coming over to help out. It's not enough. And now some probes have been killed, looks like, over here. Yeah, dropping down to 14 probes. He lost a bunch of probes here in the main base. And I think it's going to be time for one last desperate counterattack. Look at drones are coming along here. Might as well bring them. Bring all your friends. Bring everybody. Because this is the last hope. And I think he could just kill these Overlords, honestly. If he kills the Overlords, the game is over. The Overlords died, the DTs kill everything. So he's actually going to dive on the Dragoons, but... you know, there's a lot of different ways to skin this cat. He can win in a number of different methods. He's actually got 2 Sunken Colonies here as well. Ziki really setting up well for this, realizing that the desperate counterattack was really the only option.
Yeah, I mean, the high ground is so hard to break up onto, even though you've got numerical advantage with Dragoons. Look at the Overlords, they're both so low on HP. Ziki's going to try and see if he can maybe finish them off. He does have 1 Dragoon. The Dragoon snipe one of the Overlords, down goes the other. Now there's nothing to spot for these 2 DTs. They're going to have an absolute field day. I'm just blown away by the turnaround in this game. Like, really well played by Ziki to kind of hang on by a thread and turn things around on his side of the map, and then Kiss quickly teching into that DT, giving him total map control. It looks like Voodoo, but it looks like Kiss. He's going to get in here with the Dragoons. It's just too little too late. He's not going to kill Ziki with this. The DTs will eventually clean this up.
Yes, and behind this, additional bases coming online. Naturals being taken. He's setting up for the follow-up, and I mean, we don't have a robo, so there's not really a good way to come down and really do anything from here. We should be seeing the tap out soon. Just 2 Dragoons moving through the middle of the map, but yes, GG is called. There it is. First game, game number 1, a huge comeback from Team Ziki. And this is throwing me off. What's his name? Yogurt?
It's Voodoo.
Voodoo.
Yeah, these 2v2 players have weird enough IDs as it is, much less playing on like Smurf IDs as well in a tournament setting. Kind of funny. It is what it is though. These 2v2 guys have all kinds of craziness with their IDs. All right, spawning in the top left, Moonlight as Zerg. And his teammate down in the bottom right. It's Kiss, the Protoss. They're 1-0 down, but it's a long series. We got a best of 5 today. And they're going up against, in the top right, now Voodoo playing as Zerg. I guess he's playing random. And his teammate down in the bottom left, Ziki, the Hungarian Zerg. So double Zerg. And the other team don't know about it yet. We've talked about it before, just how strong double Zerg is. You can go double 9 pool speed and really put the pressure on. You don't have to though. 1 Zerg can help control the map with the early pool while the other guy goes for a second hatchery and macros up a bit, eventually taking the expansions and kind of going crazy in the mid game. So we'll see what these two individuals want to go for as the dual Zerg. The opponents don't know about it for a little bit.
Yeah, that seems like a big advantage, going random and getting that double Zerg. I think you have to play a certain type of way in order to handle that. But I'm not sure exactly what it is. Again, it is banned in some tournaments.
Yeah.
Just because of how strong it is. Go ahead.
And with the cross-map spawns, everyone is close to each other, is one thing you have to consider as well. So there's no like longer rush distance timings. Everyone is potentially exposed here. Kiss is actually going to try and wall in this choke with 2 gateways, and that's not a bad choice, honestly. You kind of do need, if you're going to build double gateway here, which you almost every single time would, it kind of makes sense to add a little bit of a wall to help hold the line against circling run-bys and what have you. And there's like very quick pulls and gas from all 3 of the Zergs.
Yeah, I have yet to see a Zerg player go for like a fast hatchery in 2v2. I think I've seen like some certain circumstances where the Zerg player against Terran, you can go for a fast hatchery and then the Protoss like cannon you to defend. Yeah. I've seen some things like that, but it's kind of a niche thing. Most of the time you're going to see Zerg players going for a pretty quick pool, pretty quick layer, if not speed. And actually, look at this. One player going for layer here. Remember, Moonlight and Kiss are on a team. So
yeah,
going for the layer and being a little bit defensive against 2 Zerg players who are going for Ling speed early, and a lot of Lings at that. Can he hold on against 2 players going for this early pool Ling speed build?
It's going to be so tough. He's got a shield battery to help out, but the problem is that they didn't know about the dual Zerg at the moment. Zergling's already putting a little bit of damage onto that gateway. Moonlight in the top left went for overpull into lair, so he's not going to be able to help out for a little bit of time. Probes coming off the line, has that shield battery to recharge some of these Zealots. They're doing a pretty good job of not letting the Zerglings bleed into the main base, but already probes are going down. And this attack is not over yet. Some Zerglings putting more and more damage onto that gateway, but Kiss is doing a fantastic job of holding the line thus far.
Yes, he is. And now some Lings are coming out to potentially counterattack. It looks like Moonlight is heading down towards bottom left. Try to put some damage onto one of these 2 players. Try to get it onto Zeke, it looks like. Not a bad choice. Zeke, a very strong Zerg. If he can slow him down, kill some drones, that might give them the momentum that they need to end up winning this game. Seems like Zeke, though, has Lings at home, and there's Lings coming from Voodoo to try and help out. A run-by slips by into the main base here. Zeke gonna slip in after everything. I can't believe he let those slip in.
Yeah, the Zealots just moving out onto the map. It's so bold from Kiss to go for that. I'm actually a bit surprised. I didn't think he would pull the trigger on getting these Zealots out onto the map. I guess he was worried about a 2v1 situation, overcoming Moonlight in this game, and wanted to have some kind of way of trading out Zerglings, but he's losing mining time, he's losing probes. This wasn't necessarily the best course of action. Maybe he should have waited till he had 2 Zealots to plug the holes on that wall in before electing to do this. Zeke is running a bit of a ring around him in the main base, denying mining time.
Double hatchery over here. Both the players on the left side going for Spire. And so we're going to see a bit of an air battle most likely soon here. However, with Kiss basically out of the picture with almost no probes left, is it possible for Moonlight to overcome this disadvantage?
I'm not so sure. It's going to be so tough, and the Zealots all get cleaned up. I understand the thought process. They wanted to put added pressure onto Zeke, and Moonlight couldn't do that all by his lonesome, especially going for this defensive Muta style. But I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be really tough. I mean, Voodoo has 2 hatcheries worth of production. So there's going to be a lot of Zerglings, and he can just make spores to be fine against the possibility of Moonlight countering him. Another massive attack on the main line of Kiss. The gateway goes down, limiting the production. The energy of the shield battery probably more or less depleted as well. They're going to overrun the Protoss. It's going to be Moonlight in a 1v2 situation at this rate. And I'm not so sure he's able to keep up with Zeke and Voodoo.
Yeah, it looks like Voodoo's actually sending drones to bottom left to build spores for Ziki as well. Just kind of solidifying the win, I think. Because there's really not much that he can do. Not much that Moonlight can do. Oh. I mean, even if he wins the air battle, there's going to be spores there. That's kind of crazy. And 2 Scourge hit as well. So, I mean, he's still got all 4 mutas, but they're very badly damaged. Eventually, there's going to be mutas out here. And yeah, these spores really kind of clinch the game for this double Zerg squad. Defending and attacking, or the ability to defend and attack here. Keeping his partner alive. Pretty good heads-up play from Voodoo to get that going right now.
Oh, it's really smart because your Voodoo doesn't have the tech, but he does have a pretty strong economy with that double hatchery, so it's super effective just to defend Ziki with the spores. It also allows Ziki to be more aggressive later on with his mutas because he pumped so many Zerglings while on that Spire tech. Didn't really have a strong muta timing, so Moonlight would have overwhelmed him had Voodoo not helped him out with these spores. So yeah, like you say, really smart heads-up play. There's a single Zealot seeing if he can maybe snipe a drone here, but he's not going to be successful. Looks like the dual Zerg squad is going to end up reigning supreme in this game. I just don't see Moonlight turning this around. He's going to see if he can do something, but 8 mutas do not beat 2 spores.
Yeah, they just don't. Gonna be quite a few Lings popping out here in a moment as well. Mutas coming up. 5 mutas gonna be able to help out and potentially just clear up whatever mutas are left over after this attack takes place. He does kill the 1 spore at the bottom. Gonna go after that 2nd spore with Lings and mutas. Looks like he'll end up getting it. But here comes the mutas of Ziki. Can he get some connections with these Scourge as well? Nice micro there. Just targeting down those Scourge. Ziki makes sure that he can win that fight. Oh, actually, he will barely lose this. Look at that.
This is crazy.
The mutas, and here goes Moonlight into the main base once again.
The spores were spread out enough that he could target them down one at a time, so this fight went way better for Moonlight than I realized. I should have paid attention to how the spores were positioned. If the 2nd spore was deeper in the mineral line, oh, it catches one of Ziki's mutas with Scourge as well. Can Moonlight do this? He hasn't killed Ziki yet, but if he can get rid of Voodoo out of this game, he's already technically won in the air. Maybe there's a way of winning this 1v2 scenario. I didn't think it would be possible, but the spores being split initially seems like it might be doable.
Well, I think it might have just ended here. Not quite enough to break both the spores and kill the mutas in the end. It was looking close there for a moment, but yeah, just not quite enough. And with this much production, Moonlight will have to tap out. Just too much income from Voodoo. Too many drones here. All he needed to do is just keep making spores, and he would survive. GG. 2 games on the board now for the Ziki Voodoo squad.
Spawning here in the top light. They're currently 2-0 down. Maybe they can turn it around, though. Kiss as Protoss. And his teammate in the bottom left. The red Zerg, Moonlight. They're on the left side of the map. And they're going up against, down here, in the bottom right, the Hungarian Zerg Ziki. And his teammate in the top right, Voodoo, as Protoss, currently playing random, so the other team don't even know that he's Protoss right now.
At least I think that's the case, right? I don't know if... Are you allowed to switch back and forth?
You can't... I don't think so, no. You can't race pick. You have to either play random or pick a race.
Okay. Good to know. So they're not aware of this Protoss player in the top right. Could be another ZZ they're up against. So let's see if they play the same as they have been. Another 2-gate with a overpool gas into layer. That's what Moonlight's been favoring so far, but hasn't really been working out for them. It seems like the earlier Lings taking map control a little bit stronger. Harder to play reactive in 2v2. It's sometimes better to be proactive and getting in on top of one of these players. Like the chatter was saying earlier, 2v1ing early and you know, getting aggressive can be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it helps you control the state of the game. Generally speaking, in 2v2, you just want to stop the other two players being able to link up and join forces. So if you're able to be proactive with that, finally they do know that Voodoo is playing Protoss now with the probes touching in the center. But both players electing to go for Overpool. Second hatchery from Zeke. A little bit of an interesting positioning because it's kind of close to the ramp, but it's not super close. It'll be a long time before he can make a safety sunken that actually covers the ramp. I wonder if that'll come back to bite him later on.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know, I get the idea of going for this, but what is the thought process of getting it here? Maybe it's so that you can build a spore and kind of cover this? I don't know.
I guess.
That's
I'm not so
strange.
sure about it, though. Maybe Zeke's got something planned that we can't see, but I'm not super fond of it. I think you either build the hatchery very close to your main or close to the ramp, one of the other, not splitting it up in a weird middle ground situation like this. But we'll see. Maybe he's got something in mind with that. Now the Overlord Scout of Zeke going to be seeing the lair timing coming out from Moonlight. So both players kind of optimizing differently now because Zeke's gone for 2 hatcheries this time, so it's going to be a lot more of a link flood from him, whereas Moonlight still prioritizing that Mutalisk tech, so it'll take a longer time for them to come online and have good map control, but the longer it goes on, the better it could get for Moonlight and Kiss here. Zeke and Voodoo might have to find some damage early to make this worthwhile.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Kiss is going to start cannons up on the high ground to defend the Tekken Zerg. So
that makes sense.
We're going to have a lot of Lings coming out here for Zeke. And we're probably going to have these Teal Zealots come down as well to try and add to that pressure. But with cannons on high ground, he might be able to hold. He just needs to stay alive until this cannon comes out online. Oh, going down the ramp is crazy. What the heck? Moonlight, really?
That's a bit of a mistake. Yeah, he's playing really good besides that. Like, he's got Lings ready for a run by in the top right, but against Voodoo. But yeah, a little bit of a wastefulness with the Zerglings. If he just held the top of the ramp there, let the cannon finish up, he would have traded a lot better and have much more than just a couple of Lings when all was said and done. You can see the few Lings of Moonlight, seeing if they can keep tabs on when Voodoo does come out onto the map. Kiss is just trying to run it down on Zeke right now, but Zeke's able to link flood, so these Zealots won't be super successful here. I think that Zeke will hold the line.
Well, let's see. That's a lot of Zealots and the Lings to back them up. Let's see. Ling's got to get up here to the front, and once they start to add their damage in as well, looks like he's going to be able to punch through. Zealots are coming down from Voodoo, but I don't know if they're going to be in time. Okay, a Sunken Colony finishing actually just might barely be enough. Can he target down some drones in the chaos here and really slow down Zeke, get some value out of this, because he's definitely getting cleaned up? Not really. I think he might have gotten 1 drone, maybe not even 1.
Yeah, he just barely held on there. I thought he would be safe, but maybe they could have done some more damage to the drones, and they don't actually have to dive into the main because this hatchery isn't covered by the Sunken Colony, the second hatchery, so there was an option for the other team to just get a tactical snipe on that and call it a day as well. They didn't find a timing on that. They wanted to dive into the main, kill the drones. I can understand that. Finally, we got some Mutalisk popping out for Moonlight. He's going to kill some of the overlords of Zeke. That does supply box Zeke, and Moonlight's actually getting fast carapace for his flyer units as well. He didn't get an upgrade in these previous 2 games, so he will get an upgrade advantage over Zeke, who will be very slow in getting online with his Spire. Zeke doesn't even have any defense against air, right? Besides the Dragoons in his base?
No, this is being covered right now by those Dragoons. That's the only thing he's got. So eventually there will be enough mutas to just start flying in and gunning down drones. Like, you don't have to respect the Dragoons. They take a long time to kill. And so once he hits like 5 mutas, it's going to be a lot of damage. He's actually going to wait for the Zealots to come up too, so that he can combo with this. Just come up and just kill the Dragoons, I suppose. and then try to go after the drones. Yeah, I don't even know if he's going to even lose one Muta. Uh-oh.
Well, Voodoo's making Corsairs, so maybe the Corsairs can help out in a big way. This is actually a really insane timing to get 3 Corsairs down here. Like 6 Mutas can almost win against 3 Corsairs if you split them up, but now that there's a 4th Corsair here, it's going to be a little bit more tricky. Really good splitting on the Mutas from Moonlight, but eventually the Corsairs will win out against them and start chasing them away. So even though Ziki had pretty much no air defense, besides those 2 Dragoons, they were like meat shields holding the line for a few valuable seconds for the Corsairs to come across the map. Kind of insane that Team Ziki's holding on right now. You would have thought that he'd be punished for going for this.
I gotta say, Voodoo is pretty good at covering his opponent's his teammates' weaknesses. Pretty much every time he sees a situation, I don't know if they're like communicating and Ziki's asking him for help or what, but it seems like Voodoo is predicting or preempting every single weakness that Ziki has and just filling in the gap so well. I've got to say, I'm very impressed by this team and how good they are at compensating and helping out each other. Now going to be diving forward here. Going to get some connections with the Scourge. Oh my gosh. Craziness, but all the Mutas will die for Moonlight. And what does he have in the mineral line? Well, he's going to have spores here soon, but it's going to be still a bit of time. Not sure if diving in at that moment was the right call. Looks like Ziki and Voodoo going to go straight across the map. Are they really just going to come up here and try to attack into Kiss? It feels a little bit wide open down here. I guess now that it's been filled up with spores, this main base, he should be okay. Trying to take the natural is kind of crazy. There's full map control going to Kiss and Voodoo. So
Voodoo and Ziki.
Or sorry, for Voodoo and Ziki. So I don't know if he can get this up. He's got a DT though, DT and some cannons. If he gets that base up, we could see them start to get an advantage in this game.
Yeah, I think he's just barely might get away with it, just because Ziki wasn't able to get in and punish that one single cannon on the low ground. Now that he's going to have 3 cannons finishing up there, he might be able to hold on to it. I guess he does have to do something to catch up in this game. He's got a little bit of map control with the DTs. He's kind of defending by attacking right now, keeping them distracted. There's actually a gas geyser hidden under these temples, guys. That's why he's slowly killing that, so he can get a little bit of extra gas without expanding. And yeah, Ziki's going to do the same. He's going to take that second gas and come online in a big way. So he's actually building the gas underneath the temple. I didn't even know you could do that. That's kind of funny.
Is that one of those situations where only the Zerg player can build the gas? Because I remember they did that one time on a ASL
maybe
island map. There was an ASL island map where you're able to do that, and the Protoss and Terran actually couldn't take that gas, so it's kind of like a balancing thing to allow Zergs to fight properly on a island map. Now can't actually mine from this, unfortunately. Kiss, even though he's got the base up, can't really do anything with it. He does have High Templar started, and he probably has Storm. I'm not sure if he actually got that yet. He's going to make an Archon to maybe attempt to drive this away. Really wants to get this base online because Voodoo is starting to get his own base in the top right, and this game is going to start to grow, guys. So this is not over. We're just going to get a little bit bigger now. Yeah, we're going through to the next stage of the game. This is kind of the 2v2 mid game. It's kind of strange. Yeah, no, he can't. I was confused that he was even able to take it. I definitely can't mine from it, it seems, so we'll have to kill that eventually anyway. I guess you can start making the gas ahead of schedule and then clear out the temple in time for when it finishes to optimize. Ziki thought he could maybe mine that without having to kill it. It seems like the answer's no. Some extra cannons being thrown down in the mineral line of Kiss here, just so he can really stabilize while the Archon runs point defense so those drones can get to mining. But Voodoo's expansion's about to finish as well, and he's got a pretty similar probe count to Kiss, so this is going to be a very even mid-game between these two players, but Ziki has an advantage over Moonlight for sure, so you have to give a small advantage to Team Ziki here. Does pick up a few drones. Scourge coming in to see if they can catch some of those mutas on the exit, while the mutas of Moonlight also run chase on those. Here come the Corsairs, though, to really turn the tide.
even with the spores there, they're going to still have a bit of a field day killing the rest of those mutas.
I mean, he can't fly over the cannons, surely. Cannon's gonna rip those apart. But yeah, definitely takes out a ton. Oh, drone over, excuse me, DT over here killing a bunch of drones. At least limiting that gas income by a tiny bit. But with this gas going on as well, there's gonna be so many mutas popping up for Ziki.
Yeah, I guess the one thing going for Team Kiss and Moonlight is that there's a big investment into these Corsairs from Voodoo. So maybe Kiss can come online with a better unit composition. But overall, Voodoo has traded better in this game. He's got a lot of value out of those Corsairs. So even though he might not have an optimal composition right now, that's going to change pretty soon. He's done a lot with that investment. Ziki trying to also fight an uphill battle against that. Great counterattack. Keep coming in to kill some more of these drones of Ziki, but Voodoo helped shut that down with his own DT and Zealot in the bottom right. Kind of craziness in his 2v2. Ziki definitely winning the air battle against Moonlight, especially with those Corsairs helping out. But I do think there's a slight advantage with Kiss's unit composition. It's just that Voodoo's done such a great job of optimizing despite having a later expansion. So I think there's just a plain advantage for Team Ziki and Moonlight right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a way that Kiss can bring this to a win. Doesn't seem like Moonlight's going to be able to help him too much during these fights. Just building a few Mutalisks at a time. She's going to have less mutas than Ziki, no matter which way you slice it. It looks like these mutas are going to end up falling as well. Oh, just the one. The Overlord's going to go down too. And so Moonlight just going to be sitting back, powering up a little bit, making more mutas. Hasn't utilized this gas yet, though. You'd think he would want to grab that since he's just kind of stuck here on one base.
Yeah, I guess since he's only got one hatchery, he's not thinking about it, but maybe he could have, you know, oh, he's got two hatcheries, my bad. Yeah, I guess he kind of should have taken that base, and now he's in a lot of trouble because the Corsairs are going to zone out any mutas that Moonlight can make, and he's going to pounce on these spores. There's a big counterattack from Kiss. Maybe he can punish Ziki. Two Archons are really powerful, but he has also got an Observer here to spot for these DTs. They would have helped out in a big way. They do slice through the Archons, though, so Ziki can finally fight back a little bit against these Dragoons on the ground, and a couple of Sunkens finishing up with more reinforcements for Voodoo on the way. Absolute pandemonium in this game today. Does seem like Voodoo and Ziki holding on. A counterattack from Moonlight in the top right as well. Good job by Saiyan keeping on top of all this action. But it doesn't look like Moonlight and Kiss can puncture the defensive lines of Ziki and Voodoo. They are coming out on top in a big way. Ziki has got an execution on Moonlight's main base as well. Just a few drones alive on the map and the main lair being targeted down.
Yeah, this game is over. Voodoo, Ziki, too strong. GG will have to be called. I gotta say, really impressed with the Voodoo Ziki squad. These guys covered each other so well, especially Voodoo able to find those Zerg weaknesses and just get over there, always making sure that his opponent is okay, always making sure that they can win as a team. Great 2v2 spirit here, guys. And our first best of 5 is complete just like that.
Spawning here in the top left as the Terran, it's Lokzito. Or let's just call him Loxit, I guess, because that's more of a face at the end of his name.
Who's his
teammate in the bottom left?
Bottom left? Okay.
Bottom left, as the Zerg, it's Sting. You've seen some of these guys before in that 2v2 tournament. And they're on the left side of the map, playing against the right side in the top right, as the Zerg, Vandelay. And his teammate in the bottom right, playing as Protoss, Ivan.
All right, we got a nice split map scenario. A little bit easier to keep track of these guys as we're getting
The shift tab still not working.
Let me check this. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit easier.
You go. I think the other guys maybe just weren't playing on top versus bottom or something like that. But yeah, if you play on top versus bottom, you should be able to get these colors.
Fantastic. All right, guys. We're good and ready to go. Now let's see if we get some similar builds here. Actually, with the Terran in the mix, it does definitely changes the matchup by quite a bit. One thing about Terran, guys, is they take quite a bit longer to come online than Zerg and Protoss. And so, whoa. Gas steal to start off.
Yeah, you do see it occasionally in 2v2. Just limiting the Zerg's ability to either rush into a lair or to get link speed early stops them being able to come out onto the map and adding value right off the get-go. It actually is a pretty strong option to go for this. Might help them out a lot, limiting Sting's ability in this game. Meanwhile, you got Vandalay up here in the top right, already chugging away with his own gas. It's going to be that bio opening from the Terran. He's already got 2 barracks out, so he's not going to do any kind of teching build. This is the most common meta option for Terran in 2v2. They can do pretty much anything. They can go Factory and Vultures. They can go 2-Port Wraith, but more often than not, you're going to see that bio play. It just takes a little bit longer to come online in a big way. The one thing that is super crazy is that it seems like Ivan, having gas stolen, he's going to optimize by staying on 1-gate tech. That's really unusual. You do not see 1-gate tech that often unless you're playing super defensive, and he did use 100 minerals to build that gas steal. So he's going to be optimizing by getting into a forge so that he can also build cannons defensively and hold the line against the potential bio timing.
It's funny that they're talking in in-game chat. I would have thought voice chat would be far superior, but
they're old school, man. They do it the old way. It's really weird, right? We have the ability to voice talk, voice communicate, and most people don't. Most people still just use chat. I guess they're either used to it or they don't like talking while playing because it's distracting or something. It's really funny when they're like spamming keys to quickly communicate something, and it's like they're speaking in tongues, but they somehow understand what each other are saying.
Right. They've got like they've got some sort of like hidden language they've got worked out beforehand. All right, cannon on the ramp, just barely gonna finish in time here. Probes gonna be pulled. He's gonna try to surround this. Oh my gosh, these lings are actually trapped now. They can't get back down the ramp. Brutal.
Seriously sick by Ivan. Yeah, a bit of a misplay from Sting. He should have just targeted the probes down, but he thought he could squeeze down the ramp, but the probe drill was just so good from Ivan.
Ivan also going for cannon on the high ground over here. Which means yeah, you're not going to be able to get up this ramp. Not with the bio push, that's for sure. Like, usually a bio push is a little scary for the Zerg to handle, but with the cannon on high ground, like, it's just not even a possibility, right?
Yeah, he's even going to add a second or maybe even a third cannon here on the high ground later on, once the bio push is more likely to come out. You kind of need 3 cannons to hold the timing from Terran to be super safe against it. You'll sometimes see those like Korean or Chinese pros only building like 1 or 2 cannons, but that's because they've super optimized everything out in the early game and they can just barely get by with that. You can see already the second cannon coming down to the main base. Won't be surprised if he starts adding cannons to the Zerg as well. Terran's already starting to move out.
Terran's moving out. Second cannon starts. Hatchery about to finish. He might want to go for a sunken colony here on high ground, but he's actually almost done his mutas. So mutas are going to pop out in time to kind of help things out, and lings are not ready to go in with this. I think you need to combo lings with the Marines to try and jump on top of the cannons and make it work. Third cannon starts, just like you said, Shun. Here we go. Fourth cannon as well. Oh my gosh, they're really getting prepared for this. And the sunken colony starts. There's a tiny little window here for him to try and break through.
Well, there's not much blocking the ramp, so the lings actually will be able to get up here and help out in a big way. This might not be well timed out enough. These cannons are a little bit slow. Terran targeting down those with the stim on the low ground. There are a lot of mutas to help out though, so it does look like Vandalay is going to maybe be okay, especially with that sunken and cannon just coming online now. This was a super tight hold, and kind of insane that they were able to pull it off and that cleanly. The sunken especially helped out a lot there. There just wasn't enough punching power in those bio units to deal with the mutas after killing the initial cannons.
It doesn't look like there's much ability to attack either player. Well, maybe the Terran a little bit open, but 2 spores are already done in preparation for this counterattack. Let's see what kind of damage he can get. 5 mutas moving into the main base. Well, he sees everything. Even a spore here on the ramp to make sure that this hatchery is safe.
Yeah,
so maybe it's time to expand.
I would say so. This is not a bad time to expand. It's interesting though, like the spores aren't super safe, right? Like they look safe, but they're kind of split up in the main base as well. So once you've got like 7 or 8 mutas, ideally 8, you can pick apart those spores one at a time. Like they're just barely spaced out far enough where you can do that. And one of the disadvantages for going hatch on ramp is you do need to cover that with additional spores. And this DT is going to be super annoying. Like the Terran only has 1 comsat to work with, so if he uses scans for scouting, he's in trouble. He's relying predominantly on this turret on the high ground to defend the ramp, and doesn't want to waste too many scans because you scan once for the DT and suddenly there's another DT and you can't even come out on the map anymore. So this is a really huge play to go for these DTs and just kind of keep map control, keep the Terran locked in their base for as long time as possible. You'll usually see Terrans rush into vessels for this reason, but his factory isn't even done yet.
Let's see how these guys can try to come back. I mean, run by directly through, probably not going to do the best. Might get the High Templar. Not quite.
Not quite.
Just come back in time. A move needs to be made by our blue team. They gotta get something done here because they're getting further and further behind as these additional bases come up and online. Terran, I mean, he's had quite a bit of time to build up this bio, and bio really is one of the strongest things in any matchup. Kind of that early game tier 1 unit that's so powerful that can break through so many different things, but once the tech is online, once the High Templar with Storm are out, it really does start to lose its value. So, I mean, he's been building up this army for a while. He's got to get something going with it, or he's just going to fall by the wayside. He's not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, I think it might be a slight mistake for Terran to go 3 racks. Maybe 2 racks into fast vessel would have been the play here. You get the irradiate quicker to help out against the mutalisks, and you have the vessel to help out, thwart any kind of map control from the DTs as well. There was a command from Ivan for Vandalay to come in here and snipe the gas. He's going to do exactly that. He's a good listener, and that really does limit the ability for Sting to catch up in this game. And as you can see, this spore is not quite covered by those other spores, so it's almost impossible to secure this gas now. And without having that much gas banked up, he's got like 300 more gas, so he can squeeze out a few more mutas, but probably not enough to secure this gas again.
I'm not sure how this game can go on much longer. The writing seems to be on the wall here for the blue team, losing so many drones now, losing that gas. I don't think that the Terran can really do too much. He's going to attack into here, but surely there's plenty of storm ready. Yeah, there's at least 2 storms ready, plus all these cannons. Very hard to attack into this. Marines coming down here. Looks like he's going to come down with the Marines and try to cover.
Yeah.
This, I mean, I feel like Voodoo would have covered this already, right? If he was his teammate.
Yeah, I think so. They're a little bit proactive with how they synergize. That's the problem. Like you were saying earlier, you don't really want to play reactive. It's almost too late by then. Once you try and respond to something that's already an active threat, you kind of have to be ahead of the schedule and kind of metagaming the opposing team and figuring out all the timings you need to be aware of. Another dive in on this high ground. I don't think this is going to be successful. There's just too much here. And the sunken colonies will make it almost impossible for the bio to help out from the low ground. And that cannon still somehow hanging on strong. There's just not a lot of options here. I mean, Vandalay just has too much of an air superiority with his mutas.
Definitely feels that way. More sunkens being made. They know that they just need to survive. That the damage has been done. And so, you know, survival here is a victory for the red team. Getting this extra base online, just a bit of a a target for the opponent. If they do come over to deal with that, then there's going to be options open or for counterattacks and that sort of a thing, sort of like a bait. They may come up there and try to deny that again, but they're still getting further and further ahead, and looks like we've got another pause, but I wonder what they're discussing on the blue team, how they're feeling like they can come back, or what they feel like they need to do to try and come back in this. Still no gas mining here. It's kind of crazy.
Well, the Terran has an expansion. It's not terrible, but the Protoss is way ahead of the Terran, unfortunately. It's almost 50 probes to 34 SCVs. And the Protoss can also make a Dark Archon to feed back those vessels as well. The vessels might not do enough heavy lifting. He's hoping that he can get a couple of good irradiates on these, but you can see Vanderlay's already got his mutas pre-spread, so that if there was an irradiate, it wouldn't really do a whole bunch and would be super easy to split those out. So yeah, there's not a lot of comeback mechanics available to the Terran Zerg's squad, especially with Sting this far behind in the muta battle.
Yeah, he's not making any more mutas anytime soon either. Gonna be setting up some bunkers here at the front. You don't really see that too often, but oh my goodness, so much damage from that one storm.
For the Terran to try and lock in the Protoss with a bunker contain like this, it's just he's not been successful in setting it up.
That's unfortunate. I finally will get the stim, I guess. Has to send more SCVs just to get those two bunkers online. So many cannons coming up. This is a true Protoss player. The only thing he's been doing this game is building bunkers, High Templar, and DTs. I mean, nothing more Protoss than that.
I hope he catches one of the SCVs. That'd be so hilarious if he caught both of them. He's going to try and snipe it with the DT, but it's not quick enough. He will at least get one bunker up. Does kill the DT to stop on bunkers. But yeah, Saiyan, you'll sometimes see like 5 or 6 bunkers and eventually tanks just trying to lock in the Protoss. And you'll see the other Protoss player having to like build gateways in his allies' main base just so that he can get army out onto the map or something. There's some wildness that goes on in 2v2.
That sounds insane. There's that Dark Archon that you were talking about. Dark Archon to potentially feedback vessel. That is wild to even think about.
Good irradiates. Goes down, but split them off, but a lot of damage, man.
A lot of damage there. And so he's actually safe at this natural and can kind of focus on attacking into this Protoss player. He never set up a turret. That would have been a good idea. Just build a turret here so you can stop scanning constantly for DT. Now that he's got the vessel, I guess that kind of solves that problem. But drops are going to come out. Drops heading along the bottom part of the map. Plenty of forces in there ready to go to work on this base. Can he get some huge storms to cripple the economy? Okay. Not a bad pull. Not a bad pull here. We'll make it possible. Oh, storms! Okay.
He's got enough energy for Maelstrom. He could catch all these mutas as well, but
not quite.
Even just trading a little bit here is pretty fine. The mutas should be able to chase down these shuttles. And meanwhile, Ivan also expanding to the 3 o'clock position, so he's getting a 3rd base online despite being contained. And it's great that they've got these speed shuttles to kind of negate that contain for the time being. And yeah, with that island expansion coming online for Ivan, this contain won't be super successful. How is this shuttle still alive?
He juked. Looks like he might get caught, though, in the end. Oh, my gosh. Maelstrom. What a play.
Are you kidding me?
What a sick play. Insane. Now he can escape. Oh,
Saying
my gosh.
They're doing this without even talking to each other. Can you believe that?
Oh, my goodness. What a play. That was sick, actually. The drop on the DT or the Dark Archon to get the Maelstrom, so the muta on muta battle can go in the favor of his ally. Pretty darn sick, but this is looking a little bit scary. That's so many bunkers, man.
I told you, they'll make like 5 bunkers with tanks. It's insane what they do in 2v2. He will eventually encroach on this Protoss, and he doesn't have any gateways out on the map, so he kind of needs to utilize shuttles to circumnavigate that. Yeah. I told you he was taking that island at the 3 o'clock as well, so he is getting stronger and stronger of his economy despite being contained. But who knows, man? Maybe eventually Sting and Loxit can turn this around slowly but surely. This contain might end up spiraling out of control at this rate. It's possible.
Yeah, maybe if the Red Army dives in on these bunkers and doesn't do too well, it could be a big turnaround. Trying to get the bunkers even closer. Not enough gateways. Not enough gateways here from Ivan. Not powered up enough, I don't think, to break this easily. And so here comes that army we were talking about. Oh, looks like the vessels will go down. Vessels get targeted down here. Ling's blocking zealots so that the tanks can get some extra shots off. Kind of funny. But here it is. He does get quite a few of the tanks. A lot of the tanks die. So that really cuts down on this push's potential. Needs to get tanks, more of them across the map, but mutas are kind of scouting around the middle, waiting to cut those off. So you have to bring quite a bit of forces along with that in order to get a resupply here at the natural. And in fact, tank gonna be picked off. Just buying any amount of time, keeping this Nexus alive and free from tank fire is amazing. He's even gonna take this center left too, Shun. Grabbing another base over there is pretty sick. More mutas have been made, but it's pretty difficult to reclaim air control once you've lost it. Even in 2v2, it's the same as 1v1. Very, very tough to get more mutas than your opponent at this point.
Yeah, it looks like he's almost lost his gas in the natural, but he's clung onto that. Ivan is so confident, he said to his ally that I'm okay. It's hilarious to think about that he's been contained this heavy, and he's like, yeah, I got this, don't worry about it. He did snipe a lot of those tanks, which has limited the punching power of Loxit actually coming in here and getting a kill move on this natural. And like you were saying, taking a 4th base as an island, so he's really going to explode in economy soon. And Sting kind of hoping that Loxit would get enough irradiates on these mutas that he could maybe start fighting back in the air more, but Vandelay's just done such a good job of keeping these mutas pretty spread out, not taking too much damage from those irradiates besides one time. And he's got total map control. He's not letting any additional tanks come across the map. This is great teamwork. And now, potentially a Maelstrom combo on that flock of mutas. Ivan and Vandelay playing out of their mind today. There is a couple of irradiates that are going to come down onto the mutalisks of Vandelay. He's doing an okay job at splitting those. Marines also coming here to help out. Oh, that irradiate does a lot of work. Not many more mutas left in the sky for Vandelay here. Maybe this is the timing where finally Sting can start doing a lot more in this game, but Vandelay's already done so much damage to the Terran and limiting his ability to expand as rapidly as the Protoss has. It's 60 probes to 34 SCVs.
What is going on here? He's building gateways out onto the map. Yeah, he wants to go around that containment, like you were saying before. Yeah. Only 2 tanks at this base. So he's not able to pull back with those Marines, get into one of these bunkers as well. So a lot of these don't have Marines in them. Looks like the Reavers will probably start taking damage here pretty soon. If they try to come any further forward, they should be taking damage from the tanks. But it's only been 1 factory tank production this entire time from Sting. He's really not got a lot of tanks to work with. So he has to be pretty careful about what he does with them, where he goes with them. And these guys have to be really on task with dealing with those, you know, defending them, making sure that they stay alive. He's going to come over here and kill these gateways. A queen potentially for the Ensnare could be really strong. Ensnare plus Irradiate.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sick combo.
But he is making good headway on breaking out of this contain. Loxit rotated some tanks around to start hitting at the Zerg's natural area. The Zerg now finally getting a 3rd base online. Terran rotating back down to that contain. He sees that it got softened up a bit too much and he wants to keep that online. So both the Zerg and the Terran moving down back into this position. Kind of a wild 2v2. Some of the best 2v2 we've seen in a long time, honestly. Like, individually, they might not be as skilled as someone like Bonif or Zeki, but as a team, these guys are playing absolutely wild right now. Really great catch on these tanks. Some Irradiates trying to blanket those Mutalisks down. He is going to hold on to this contain, but a lot of the tanks have been chewed off the bone here. So the contain not going to be as strong as it could be.
Not sure what's going on over here. Looks like some sort of a drop happened, but that Special Forces army, that MVP Dark Archon, still kind of hanging out Still kind of doing work. Flying around the map, looking for more opportunities to cast that Maelstrom ability. They know that this island has been taken. I don't know if they know about this one, though. That would be, I think, under attack here pretty quickly if they found out about it.
Yeah.
Seems like you can't really let them take your side of the map island as well if you want to end up winning this game, but he's managed to get away with that for now. Bringing forward some Storms here, bringing forward some Maelstrom as well. Storm on top of a lot of this army, and they can't even deny this base heading in towards the middle of the map, so falling further and further behind here. Looks like this, okay, gonna throw down the random.
Wow.
Well, I'm at a loss for words here, so this game is so crazy.
This game is one of the craziest 2v2s we've had. Looks like Sting trying to fight back strong and help out the turn from the low ground. Wipes out the third base of Vandelay here. Vandelay's only got 14 drones. He's not doing so hot. Maybe there is a way of turning this game around, but Ivan's sitting pretty on these 4 bases. It doesn't matter that he's contained and mined out with these island expansions. So this game is actually going to be relatively close because Sting is starting to do strong now. He's got Hive Tech, he's got Cracklings, he's got even Drop Tech finishing up soon. Maybe there's a way of turning this all around for Team Blue. Looks like, Ivan is trying to break out of this contain now. He is going to be relatively successful at chewing through the bunkers, but the Zerg is showing up. Sting going to try and hold on to that and deny the Protoss ever getting out of this base. He's made so many gateways on the other side of the map, though, so maybe it won't end up mattering too much, but at the very least, they can get in here and break this natural expansion. There's no more minerals, but there is a little bit of a gas ticking by from that assimilator, so it's a little bit of a win for Team Blue here.
Yeah, I guess Team Blue is still hanging in there. Another fight here in the middle. A lot of Lings and Mutas going down. Not going to be the best trade here. And you know what? When the dust settles... Oh gosh, wait. Storm? Reaver? Holy crap, there could be so many kills. Does get a few hits on those drones, but a lot of them are going to be able to escape away, and Mutas are just going to kill these Reavers for free. And maybe he can kill this? I don't think so. Maybe the hatchery does. Maybe the hatchery? Okay, actually the hatchery will die. The hatchery will go down. That's pretty rough. I think he really doesn't have much economy going on anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a little bit of a trickle from the main base. He's on Hive Tech, but losing that expansion is a big deal. Terran starting to encroach on that third base of the Zerg, really keeping Vandelay on the back foot. He's not been able to recover. He did such a great job in that mid game, but he's kind of been outscaled in the late game. Yeah, Sting already has Cracklings and stuff. So Sting's going to be doing a better job in helping his ally in this game than Vandelay ever could. Ivan's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting. He does have those island expansions, but he hasn't got anything out on the map at the moment. Maybe he needs to start thinking about taking this mineral-only base sometime soon. Pretty good Psionic Storm on that Biomech. +3 weapons for the Terran. Bio on the ground, but a lot of upgrades for the Protoss. Look at that, 1, 2, 3 upgrades. That's pretty good. He's prioritized shield upgrades so that things like Archons are just that much more potent. And unfortunately, I don't think Sting is going to be able to keep up with the Protoss, so he needs to rely on Loxic. Loxic also doing a really good job, and finally, Sting going to be knocking out one of these island bases of Ivan. This could be the turning point. Once this base gets knocked out, Team Blue could maybe clinch this out, but there is a pretty large force of Ivan and Vandelay trying to get to this Terran mineral-only base. This is the last bastion of hope for the Terran. If you lose this, this could really change the game in a big way. There's a lot of units on the ground. Big Ensnare coming down onto those Dragoons on the ground. There's 2 tanks here with some bio. I think just barely Blue Team is going to hold on to this base. It's kind of insane what they're able to do here. They have turned this game around slowly but surely and knocking out the probes at that island base. Suddenly Ivan will not be able to carry this game much longer.
I don't even know what to say, man. This game is crazy. I think the Ling upgrades was probably the best thing that Sting did in this game. Just getting those Ling upgrades really nice and early. 2-1 with the crack. it's been allowing him to do a lot with almost nothing. Like, he has no income. He's barely been mining this whole game. He's been constantly harassed, but he's still getting work done. He's still showing up and just getting in front of whatever army is attacking into the Terran and kind of keeping it alive long enough for the Terran to deal its damage. Now there's 4 DPs here into the main. This base is going to be going down, and we're getting a base trade situation going on.
Wow, this is pretty good from Red, though. They're fighting back strong. They're killing the spawning pool, limiting the ability for Sting to keep helping out with those cracklings. But there is a lot of Mutalisks still out on the map for Sting. They didn't actually kill the CC here of Lock 6, so he's still actually in this game. Only 21 SCVs, but Ivan only has 1 mining base. And it's pretty much mined out at that 3 o'clock. If they hold on to this Terran base and stop the mining from reoccurring at 9 o'clock, there is a way of winning. There's some pretty good Sonic Storms blanketing that Biomech force. Irradiate on the High Templar is another common 2v2 interaction. Vessels have so much more value in 2v2 than usual. Now he can exploit the high ground, though. Ivan trying to hit this expansion. Ensnare helping out a little bit on one of those Archons going down. He's doing a pretty good job of keeping his Marines relatively split as well, so Storm isn't super potent. He's got a massive army surrounding and pincering this force from both sides. Here comes some Mutaling from Vandalay to try and tip the scales there, but also the Mutalisks of Sting showing up, and they should reign supreme and knock everything out.
Well, there's a big advantage in terms of those air upgrades, but yeah, way more mutas now for Sting. This is a crazy battle. Can they hold on? They have to hold on to this Terran base. Blue team has to keep this Terran base alive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Triple Archon really does force back the Mutalisk of our blue Zerg. He's not going to be able to engage with this army, really, and the Dragoons on high ground are doing a lot of work. Another tank comes up. Marines will be brought forward here. He's got a little bit of a chance now to try and turn this around, but they got to get rid of these Archons.
Yeah, that's the main clincher here for Team Red. He's stopping Sting getting value with his own mutas, and there's +3 shield upgrades on these Archons. They're relatively tanky. And the cracklings are really strong for Sting, but Mutaling is pretty much all he has to offer at the time being. So now that they've kept the Terran on the back foot, there is a way that they re-seize map control. Has to be super careful how he engages these Archons, though. The Sonic Shockwave will rip through the Lings and the Mutalisks like butter, trying to surround this army from 2 sides. The Lings and Mutas from Vandalay on a collision course with that. They're actually trying to get away from the Terran as well. There is a bit of a possibility that Team Red can still close out this game. The Terran is kind of hanging on by a thread with that 1 expansion. Sting's taking this 9 o'clock island away from Ivan as well. So the Protoss isn't really mining anymore. There's no income for Ivan. He can maybe make a few more High Templars, but that's just about it. He's going to start long distance mining this mineral only.
Man, I think that EMP would be so sick in this game. Would have been so sick to have. The Templars have been insane. The Archons are just so hard to deal with when you're mostly going Ling Muta, or your allies going mostly Ling Muta. So just adding in that EMP to just remove all those shields would be so amazing. But it looks like Sting might be about to bite the dust. He really doesn't have much left over, and he's going to lose his natural for sure. Maybe he can try to hold from the high ground, but he needs help from his ally, and maybe that opens up a counterattack option for Vandalay and Ivan to get over here and try to shut down this base. He's taken the island as well, mind you. This island is trying to be taken, and so he's gonna maybe get a Nidus over there. Maybe he can still get some mining going, but Sting is on the ropes. Some more High Templar managed to get their storms off. Some more big connections there with the tanks as well, just picking off a few of those last High Templar. Long distance mining is happening over at this base for Ivan. I mean, it's time to start broodlinging some stuff too, right? Broodling is one of those ways you can get really good value late game as the Zerg player. Where's the Nidus? I guess he got, did he get dropped? He must have gotten dropped to get over to that island.
Yeah, he did. He has dropped. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of insane, though. I mean, Team Blue it looks like they've been having a hard time during a lot of the phases of this game, but it's been so back and forth. They finally found a way of winning this because he has the mineral only still. The Zerg has the third base, and Ivan's long distance mining, so he's kind of running out of gas in the tank. There is definitely a way Team Blue can close out this game, but it's going to be a little bit tough still. I mean, that mineral only won't last forever. They need to stop the Protoss player ever getting back on his feet. As long as they can deny a Nexus or something being built here, it's going to be great for them. The Protoss just won't be able to make any more stuff to help out in this game. It seems like Vandelay is going to try and make a bunch of Scourge to kind of re-see some air control away from Sting to deny this bit of a Maelstrom combo. What does he have to combo with? 2 shuttles coming in here with a beautiful Siding Storm combo with the Archon. All of the mutas are dead. This game is absolutely wild.
What the heck? Oh my goodness, what a crazy, crazy game we're having here. This is why you guys tuned into this 2v2. It's wildness that we're looking for, and he's gonna come over here and actually shut down this base now too. Finally managed to get some mining going on here, but it's gonna be shut down very quickly. Pick up those drones, get the heck out of there. It's like Sting can surround the Dragoon and try to kill that off with just pure drones, but the Archon has something to say about it. It's not probably gonna end up working out for him. Is there anything that Loxic can do to try and help this? I guess not. Sunken Colony actually going to be the savior. Targets down the Archon. Looks like it's actually going to get the second Archon too, most likely.
This is insane.
1 Ling will actually make the difference here. 2 Lings pop out. Oh my god, 19 health. 20 health on that.
This game is crazy.
Where is...
That's mad.
He's targeting the hatchery.
There's a counterattack. There's a counterattack in the top right.
They're
GG out. They're just going to give up.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. This was one of the most insane 2v2s that we've had in SLON all tournament long, and it's in the show match, man. I mean, this is just bizarre how back and forth this game was. It looked like Ivan and Vandelay had it for a long time. You can see these gateways that were made in the Zerg's main ages ago. They had good answers to what Sting and Loxic were trying to do. They just kind of got out-traded and outplayed. You've got to take your hat off to Loxic for kind of keeping the game on lockdown long enough for Sting to come online with that hive tech, with the cracklings, and getting the queens with the end snare, and beautiful irradiates most of the game as well, really clinching it out. And Terran eventually got that second mineral only to really, add more juice to his engine. Such a well-played game from both sides. I can't fault anyone. They played so good.
Yeah, this was a fun one, man. Ivan holding on for as long as he did and getting all that damage going. I really thought that they were going to be able to take this game for sure. He had both islands rolling, but just was not able to shut down this Terran base. This Terran base was the clincher. This was the key to everything. And Loxic and Sting pulled up a great defense to make that base impenetrable, to keep that base alive, that eventually come back in this game. What a first game for this series. A best of 5 start like this.
Loxic as that Terran. And his teammate in the bottom right, Sting, as the Zerg. Did such a great job of turning that game around. Completely lost air superiority for such a long time. Went into hive, eventually got his own Mutalisks that were just reigning supreme. This guy knows what he needs to do in pretty much any situation. Pretty much all these guys do have such a good understanding of what they need to do, and they're going to be going up against, here in the top right, Ivan as Protoss, and his teammate in the bottom left, Vandelay.
Well, this does not bode well, I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Vandelay's right about that. I don't think Ivan necessarily threw that game. The other team just coordinated better in the late game and played the long game a little bit more superior to them.
Does have a little bit of a point, though, with the gateway number there. Ivan more interested in taking all of the islands than getting his production online initially, and Having a hard time, really hard time breaking out of that containment that Loxic set up on him. Was never really able to get into that really big Protoss army to be able to come out and fight efficiently. But now we're here on this map. Lots of crazy 2v2 maps, guys. Lots of crazy 2v2 maps for sure. Islands galore. Does lead to some pretty interesting games, but this one is looking kind of wild. Actually, let's take a quick look at this map because it seems nutty. My goodness. Double gas in the middle. The triple temple here. And quite the base down here as the third. Kind of reminds me of fighting Spirit, but without that high ground.
A little bit,
and of course that gas that you can take underneath the temple and then kill the temple so that you can mine it. Anyway, just wanted to take a look at that.
I think it can change the game a lot, like having that extra second gas, so if the Protoss stays on one base for longer, they can still tech up pretty heavy. Oh, a gas steal from Loxic on Ivan, that's a bit unusual, because the Protoss isn't super keen on getting their gas that early on, and meanwhile, Vandelay wants to start making work on that temple right from the get-go. Is that a misplaced sunken colony? I feel like that's blocking his gas mining. That's a mistake.
Yeah, that's going to slow things down quite a bit. You probably want to put a fourth drone on that gas. Usually you'd put it flush to another building, so it makes it a little harder to surround, but here he's kind of placed it off to the side, and yeah, unfortunately for him, I guess he's only getting enough for Ling speed, and then he's just gonna go for it. I don't know, this still seems a bit weird to me.
It is a bit strange. Loxic gonna be going straight into factory this time, so we have got a bit of a deviation with what these guys want to go for. Vandelay, meanwhile, going to be going straight into Mutalisks. This is going to get super interesting very quickly. Ivan, he's getting a core, getting a gas, as well as a forge to make cannons. It will be initially some vultures coming out onto the map here from Loxic. Can be so strong in securing map control, and also technically coming online a little bit quicker than that bio, having this fast vulture out on the map. You can put a lot of pressure, especially if you've got lings to help break ramps with that vulture. If they haven't got cannons set up in time, you can really put the pressure on, and I don't think Vandelay has anything on his ramp anytime soon, so maybe Team Blue could apply pressure to the Zerg after clearing out this ramp in the bottom right.
Yeah, just gonna put the pressure onto these zealots, start to deal that damage. Of course, he will miss some shots, but eventually he's gonna be able to kill that. And the moment that the zealots move, it'll be to... Oh, he's pulling the drones here as well. I'm not sure if this is necessary. Quick. He wants to get quickly out here, I guess. Yeah, so that he can maybe go and attack down towards bottom left. That one sunken colony is there, but the lings are out. Actually going to head up towards the Protoss player. Usually there would be a couple of zealots on the ramp, but he's only got 2 dragoons, a second cannon coming up here. I think he's safe, but let's see if they can 2v1 him and actually kill on this ramp. No, it looks like he's going to turn around.
Yeah, maybe they can get up there. It just doesn't look like it. If the second cannon was finished, I think they definitely could hold it. But the second cannon is not yet warped in. It's just now warping in. There's a bit of a probe dance on the ramp as well to glitch out these Zerglings. But eventually a hole will be made where maybe the Zerglings can get on top of those cannons. He's trying to do that now. Vulture's helping out shave off shields from the Dragoons on the low ground, but there's not enough in it for them to actually get on the ramp and punish this. And meanwhile, in the Zerg's main base in Vandelay, he's already got Sunkens pushed to the ramp now as well, so he's going to be relatively safe against any kind of vulture threat from Loxic as well. He's going into Goliaths.
How far along is the Mutalisk transition? Well, I guess there's no Mutalisk transition at all here for Sting, so I'm not sure how they're going to be able to win this game. Already Vandelay with a second gas in his main, so this is really going to start to get out of control. I'm not sure how he can hold off. Goliath build has started. Loxic gonna kill his own temple, get that second gas online, but we know DT? No, actually he's not gonna go DT. I really thought he would go DT, considering the openers here, but DT is not gonna be the choice. Instead going to Reaver, maybe? Is that what we're gonna see?
Yeah.
Or maybe he's gonna go to Observer to clear
like
mines.
I think both. Maybe he's worried about mines, but I imagine it will be some kind of Reaver tech. He's making the observatory first. Let's see if he also throws down a support base sometimes. They've just checked the main base of Sting and confirmed that there's no lair tech. So they don't have to worry about anything in the air coming out from Sting for a long time, but he can still flood a lot of Zerglings. I like that Vandelay has the second hatchery, the macro hatchery, towards where the gas is, but I'm not sure it's close enough to help out with mining that gas. I think the way the pathing works in the game, they'll still be returning the cargo to the main lair in the bottom left. Goliath's now putting on pressure, coming down here, clear out an Overlord, put Vandelay on a supply block. There's going to be a couple of Sunkens as well as a cannon on high ground. More cannons being made now by Ivan as well. A lot of Mutalisks to help out and deal with these Zerglings, but they get a pretty good surround on the Sunkens. Can they chew through this defensive line in time? It's possible, but they haven't done enough damage to the Sunken just yet. It looks like Ivan and Vandelay barely going to hang on and not let a run by from occurring down here in the main base of the Zerg.
Yeah, this is starting to look a little bit difficult here for our blue squad. Gonna go ahead and grab +1. I mean, they looked pretty dead in the last game as well, and it ended up going their way in the end. Like, maybe they'll be able to pull this one back, but it will be tough. The Muta advantage is huge. He can almost just dive directly on top of these Goliaths and just win the fight. Sure. Yeah, he will now. He's gonna kill all of these Goliaths. And so, yeah, this Reaver is gonna be super powerful. In combination with the Mutas, it'll be nearly impossible for blue to survive.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the game plan. I think it'd be a mistake to attack the Terran with the Reavers just because there's so much chance of like the Goliath sniping the shuttle and stuff. So it makes sense if they bully the Zerg in the bottom right a little bit here. It's going to take a long time for Loxic to, take an expansion and really get himself off the ground in this game. He's predominantly going to be playing on one base for a while, just going into a 4 factory now. Finally, we see a lair coming out from Sting, but it might be very too late. And he has got a melee upgrade coming out from the evolution chamber, so if this game does go super late, maybe he might do a bit of a rinse and repeat as he did on that last game and try and play for a longer game scenario, but he might not get there this time around.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get there with this plan coming to fruition here shortly. There is a Spire coming up. I'm surprised we didn't see mines thrown down by Loxic opening with Vulture. Usually in 2v2 the Vultures come out, and then the mines get laid down absolutely everywhere because it is a challenge to get the vision out everywhere, detection all over the map in 2v2. Like, you're generally not going for these observers super fast or going for Overlord speed super quickly. So mines can be a huge hindrance to the early game.
Yeah, I don't mind it though. I feel like it's not a bad idea just rushing straight into Goliaths to make sure you're super safe against Vandelay in the air, and it's eventually going to help him take a reasonably quick expansion. I don't think it's too terrible, but here comes that Reaver in combination with the Mutas and Goons as well in support, trying to break the Zerg. He's just got Sunken Spores and Zerglings for the time being. There is a Spire that's just about to pop, but it'll be a long time coming until he can make something to help snipe the shuttle or these Mutas. So he's really in trouble, relying more or less completely on this static defense to hold the line. Not doing such a great job thus far. There are a lot of Goliaths coming across the map to help out, but are they going to get here in time?
Even if they do arrive, the Reaver is going to be super strong against them. The Mutas in combination with the Dragoons as well is a pretty good counter. And yeah, they're gonna arrive here a bit too late. He just turns around. He realizes that even if he saves his partner, game is going to end. if he's not able to get a good counterattack and get some real damage going on one of his opponents. And so he decides which one to go for. I'm not sure if this is the right choice because another Reaver is already out and there's triple cannon on high ground. Tanks can cut through these cannons, but Reavers are going to be very hard to push into up this ramp.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. I mean, maybe there's a way of Terran doing a lot now and trying to switch the game around. He has an upgrade on these mech on me as well, right? Does he have the +1?
Yeah,
he's got that +1. And Sting's completely taken out. I mean, maybe there's a way of the Terran getting a quick kill move here on Ivan, but there is a counterattack from Ivan that could squash the Terran's own expansion. This could be a very weird scenario where the Terran breaks the main base, but also takes a lot of damage and is natural, but the Reaver's coming out. He's getting a go confirmation from Vandalay. They're jumping on top of this Goliath force with the Reavers helping out as well. These Goliaths are going to be absolutely eviscerated. Doesn't look like Loxic is successful in breaking this at all. There's just not enough Goliaths. A very quick win here from Ivan and Vandalay, evening things up in this series. One game apiece. Spawning here at the 12 o'clock position as Protoss, Ivan. And his teammate in that bottom left position, Vandalay as Zerg. And they're going to be facing off against Sting here in the bottom center as Zerg. And last but not least, his teammate, the Terran, Loxic. And yeah, Terran's just hard to play in 2v2. Like, it can be so strong, but more often than not, they have a real hard time. And it's saying, you recognize this map, don't you? This is Gaia. This is that really old school WCG map back in the era where like 4U was the best Korean player, the Protoss guy. And this was also when the Russian Terran Android was playing super good as well.
This looks like Python to me. But yeah, I can see
It's not Python.
like the, you know, if there was minerals on this side, this base looks just like Python. You're right next to your opponent. Python or, wait, Lost Temple? I'm getting the two mixed up.
Well, it does kind of have like a Python-esque spawns and similar to Lost Temple, but yeah, Gaia's definitely different. And you've got these high ground lanes on the outside of the map that you can do a lot of run-bys and counterattacks with. Super hard to play on Gaia in a 2v2 and keep on top of everything. Counterattacks are just so strong.
You're so close to your opponent here as well, from an air perspective. Like this Overlord gets into the base so quickly on either side. These two Zergs being next to each other is pretty funny. Get to see exactly the pool timing and then just try to do a later one than your opponent.
Yeah, seems like Vandalay's pool slightly quicker here. But it is going to be, you know, pool gas from both sides, and the fact that they see each other is great for them. The Zergs being close to one another means this is probably going to be two 1v1s. I don't think 2v1 will be super strong because it takes so long for, like, say, the Zealots to get down here and punish Sting and what have you. So I don't think there'll be too much craziness in the early game. He'll still go for 2-gate, and he'll still put on pressure, but I don't think they're going to be successful in 2v1ing Sting.
What is the plan? Okay, bio play here from Loxic.
With a really quick gas.
Very quick gas. Not a lot of mining from that, though. Maybe he's seen
he took
something.
It too early.
Seen something that he doesn't like, perhaps? Wants to get an extra barracks down a little bit quicker. Hold off of that gas. That's an interesting choice.
Maybe he was considering going fast factory here and then realized, hang on a minute, I probably will need to get bio out. If both Zergs are rushing into lair, makes sense to go straight heavily into bio rather than try and teching up his Terran. So I can kind of understand if he has gone for that adjustment after the scouting.
Well, Lings are now out on the map, and the 2 Gateway Zealot's going to start to kick in. Oh my gosh, he's done a lot of damage to this pylon, man. SCV, big and bulky, just hitting this pylon over and over and over again and doing a lot. Oh, he gets a probe. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to be happy about that
huge.
One.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good moral victory because it kind of tilts the Protoss a little bit here. You can see the Zealots will eventually get down to this 6 o'clock position to put on pressure. I don't think they're going to do enough damage to hurt Sting, but they can block the ramp. They can stop Sting coming out onto the map with anything. He'll be rushing in to spy. He's got a safety sunken in that mineral line, so I don't necessarily think he's at risk here, especially with a second sunken coming online. Maybe red team will still go for it, but I think that Sting will be okay if they do try and break the main. It makes more sense that they would just hold the ramp.
Yeah, just non-stop Ling production here from Sting should keep him alive with these double sunken colonies coming online. It just does slow him down a bit though, right? Because during this, Vandalay will be able to get more drones. He's going to be able to get the Spire and the second hatchery, where it just can't afford that. So basically giving a huge advantage to
they're going.
Oh, they are going up the ramp. Okay. He's given himself... they've given the Zerg player a big advantage, for sure. They want to push it a little bit further. Are all these units going to try to come in here and potentially lose this fight? Oh, the gas.
I think he's going to go for the gas. I mean, the Lings can hit the gas from the left without the Sunken helping. This is actually not a bad play. They can't kill the Zerg, but they can hamper his gas intake. I actually like this a lot. It makes total sense, because there's no way of keeping that gas alive unless you win with the Lings. And he even gets a drone kill to add insult to injury there. Now Vandalay going to be able to reign supreme. He's got superior production, and now he's mining gas, whereas Sting is not. Some bio units coming in to secure the main base of Sting. He knows he'll have to help out his ally hang on while he resecures this gas.
Yeah. Loxic 100% needs to be here. If he's not here and active with the bio, pushing away these Mutalisks, then you know that Sting is just going to die. With the extra production online, it's already bad, but with that gas loss, it should have been GG. If this was a straight up ZVZ, you can't afford to lose that at all. So he's going to give a little bit of time to his ally. What is Protoss doing in the meantime? Looks like he's going to DT.
Yeah, he probably needs to go map control against the bio with those DTs, and obviously go into Sonic Storm, which is going to help out against the Mutaling as well as that bio later on. Makes total sense. Getting some tactical snipes on the Zerglings here. As long as he can avoid the Marines, he might be able to still get some chip damage with these mutas in the sky. It'll be a little bit of time coming until Sting is super safe and confident yet again. He's got a little bit of a pair of Scourge with those mutas, so Vandalay still has to be super careful. He can't afford to get caught by the mutas with the bio underneath, because then the mutas could chase down Vandalay's own mutas and eventually win out the air battle. So Vandalay needs to be a little bit cautious despite having an advantage.
Yeah, Vandalay can't really leave either with his mutas, can he? Because if he leaves his main base and goes to the Terran, or goes on the other side of this main, then the mutas of Sting could just go in and kill a lot of drones immediately as well, because it's such a close rally to get over there. 2 drone kills there in the main base of Sting. Dropping him down to just 7 workers is pretty darn rough. Like, this is hard to deal with. Maybe a drop? Can you put a drop in here? I guess there's a cannon in this main base, but going for something like a drop right now might be strong, because everything has been cannoned. A lot of money has been spent on cannons from Ivan, and if you could just circumvent those, get around those, it would be huge.
Yeah, there's those 2 DTs you were talking about coming out onto the map to get map control. Also, the spawns really favor Vandalay. Like, he's got just more natural gas income because of the alignment of the guys. As you can see, there's gas in the main base for Sting. It's onto the left and slightly above direct alignment. So even with 3 drones, it's not quite 300 gas a minute, whereas the gas being above the hatchery is 300 gas a minute. So there's even a natural gas advantage here as well for Vandalay. So it's going to add a lot of salt into the wound that Sting hasn't been able to optimally mine. He's actually got an idle drone. He doesn't notice that this drone isn't actually mining the gas. Bit of a misclick.
Yeah, this is really painful. I would have hoped that Sting would just go for it and try to just utilize the Marines as much as possible. You know, don't make this spore Don't make anything unnecessary. Just drone hard and try to get this gas mining. But he's only mining 1 on gas, and he's making a spore. It really feels like he's not going to be able to do anything this game now. He's kind of locked himself out of even playing, and I think that Loxic is starting to realize that. He needs to go out and do something with his army if he wants to win this game.
Yeah, maybe he can join forces with all of his bio all in one big ball. But he's got a Dark Archon just hiding in the back of the base of Vandalay, hoping to get a tactical Maelstrom if Sting does try and dive in with his own mutas. And they also can help out against the bio. If the bio tries to break the ramp of Vandalay, they can also Maelstrom those bio units as well. Let's see what the Terran wants to do. It looks like he's going for Vandalay in the bottom left. So this Dark Archon actually might pay off in a big way. 3 cannons is pretty strong, but when you've got muta support and Marines on the low ground, there is a possibility they can break this. They might actually need that Dark Archon just to not lose the ramp, but there are a lot more mutas for Vandalay than there are for Sting.
He's got it. He's got just enough. Dude, this tactical Dark Archon might be a game winner. It's funny as it is. It's kind of like a meme that it is. It's actually going to be so big. That Maelstrom there on all of the mutas, but they're having a hard time coming forward and actually taking the fight. Can he get a Storm to combo with that? Storm on the ramp. Ooh.
Super sick Storm.
What a shutdown.
They look like they could break the ramp there for a second, but there's just too many mutas for Vandalay. With good micro, he can just absolutely score these bonus. Look at the second Storm. He barely had enough energy for that. There is no chance of them breaking this ramp now. Such a great play from Ivan and Vandalay. They had a little bit of a disagreement over game number 1. Vandalay thinking that game slipped through their fingers. Maybe he was right. But now they're in a pretty good position in this game. Loxic's got a bit of a drop coming over to the main base of Ivan here, trying to get out of the range of those 2 cannons and put some pressure on. Maybe he can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it looks like he'll get quite a few probes. Not a very quick reaction from Ivan. He's going to bring some stuff over now. Here comes Mutas to try and help out. They're going to be able to trade well because there are no medics in this army, but it's a good thought. Try to get something going on here. Loxic got to throw something out there to look for a little bit of damage, get anything going on right now, because Sting is just not really able to do much. He's just kind of stuck right now, building just a few mutas and trying to slip out a tiny amount of drones. He's only on 10 workers. I guess Vandalay only on 13, so it's not as crazy difference as I would have thought, but he might be just about to die here with these zealots coming into play as well.
Oh, that's a beautiful Storm on the drones. It does look really dire here for Sting. I think he is going to die. Vandalay's also being a little bit sneaky. He's taking a natural expansion at the 3rd base at the 9 o'clock position. So he's going to expand and the blue team won't necessarily even know about it. This is a big ask from Loxic to win this 2v1. His Science Vessel timing is going to be so slow relative to the tech of Ivan as well. Our unit's doing some pretty good damage in the main base, but it's not good enough. He's going to end up losing all of these forces without killing enough, it looks like. So I don't think he can win the 1v2 right now. He's doing some damage to Ivan, but not enough. Bit of a counterattack, some speed locks running it down in the Terran's main base. Luckily, there's a big enough bioforce to shove that away, but it looks like Team Red are in control of the game.
Yeah, there's not much hope left over here as Loxic tries to hold it down. He's still on 1 base. He's trying to come out, take this natural. Wants to gun down this High Templar. Does get it at the cost of 4 Marines. There is that Dark Archon still, and it's got a Maelstrom ready to go. I'm hearing some kills here. Yeah, it's just SCVs getting absolutely wiped out by that big Mutalist force. GG is called, and that's all she wrote. Another win on the board for Ivan and Vandalay.
Loxic. And his teammate in the top right, both at the top of the map, Sting as the Zerg. And they're going to be facing off here in the bottom right. It's actually double Zerg, so I'm not sure who this is actually, Saiyan. Can you shift tab a sec? Okay, so that's Ivan in the bottom right as Zerg. Have they been playing random this entire time and just getting Protoss every time? Because now we've got Ivan on Zerg and Vandalay in the bottom left as Zerg as well. Double Zerg.
I'm not so sure, Shun. Not sure what's going on here, but I guess we're gonna have this double Z play. If they don't know about this, it's a lot stronger, but we're not sure if it's known or not. Funny to switch up. Funny to switch up after doing so well in the last couple of games here.
Yeah.
But here we are.
You might actually want to just stay off of team colors since we've got 2 Zergs. Make it a little bit easier to discern.
Sure. Top versus bottom.
Yeah. Alright, so the Terran's going to try and wall off this little choke here on Azalea. I can't remember the exact map name, but I think it's Azalea.
That.
Pretty interesting map. It's kind of, I would say, a little bit reminiscent of Luna the Final as well as Longinus kind of rolled into one.
A lot of different pathways here. Oh, I guess just the one pathway coming in and out of your base. A few different ramps going on here. Kind of a funky map. But with the double Zerg.
Definitely different.
Oh, a fast expansion at the 2 mineral patch pace. Wait, what?
This is actually common because, like, way back in the meta, they didn't have natural expansions as we do today. So it was very common for Zergs to just make their hatchery at the choke point to sunken it up. So this is kind of like to help Zerg optimize their early game defense so they can squeeze out a bit of minerals as well as taking that choke point defensively. Kind of hilarious to think about.
Now, this is a little bit wild. We'll see how it pans out. I would say, just from my feeling, my impression of playing 2v2, I don't know if you agree with this, but when you have a Terran on your team, it feels the hardest against ZVZ. Like double Z, whether you're Protoss or Zerg, the double Z just has so much early game power, and Terran usually takes so long to power up and get out on the map. It really makes it difficult to survive early.
Yeah, seems like Sting a bit on some pressure here. But his teammates showing up with some Zerglings as well. Vandalay going to be trying to help catch these. He's actually got move command on those links. They don't do a great job of pincering the Zerglings of Ivan. They got speed upgrade as well. Maybe they can get in here and snipe a drone.
He really needs to get some damage with this. He's already lost quite a few lings, and if he doesn't really get any damage, we could see a swing where the double Zerg comes across the map and just wipes out Sting, right? Like, he really doesn't have a lot right now, and Terran is not going to be able to help him much. Like, if he comes out, the lings of these two players will just absolutely wipe the floor with these Marines. He kind of has to stay back, and Sting kind of has to just survive.
He might even want to make a second sunken relatively quickly. Seems like we've got that fast spire coming out from Vandalay. Whereas Ivan, you just have a ling flood here. And will eventually make sunkens to hold this choke if he needs to against the bio move out. But the Terran can't really come out until he's got medics and stim. And even then it can be a little bit scary until he gets a massive force. You can see the 2 Zergs will just have total map control for a long time. They're going to put a bit of pressure on the Terran. Medic a little bit out of position, but it doesn't get punished. 2 Firebats have been made to do a lot of heavy lifting against the masses of Zerglings that are seizing map control right now. Maybe if the Terran can somehow join forces with Sting, this would be great. But Ivan does catch Sting out of position a little bit, killing more and more of his Zerglings, and they might be able to get a surround on this Bioforce and kill it off slowly but surely.
I really like the double Firebat initially. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Getting these double Firebats out right off the bat. It's going to allow him to take such a better fight here if they ever do combine the armies together. The Lings look like they're getting kind of trapped. He needs to make a run for it. Just get over here to the Bioforces so that he can kind of screen for them and help them to get the damage that they need to do. Double sunken colony over here for Ivan, so he's ready and prepared for this attack. Here comes the big surround. Those Lings have been super reduce there for Sting, and so they just get eaten up, as does the Bioforces, not able to get the trade that they were looking for. And behind this, mutas are already on the way here for Vandelay.
And Vandelay's got that +1 weapons upgrade for the Mutalisks as well. There are some spores coming out from Sting to hold the line, but once the mutas get into a high enough number, that might not even matter. Eventually he might still get overwhelmed. And with the mineral only taken from Ivan, not only is he going to be able to flood lings, but he'll have an okay economy while doing it, so he can afford those Sunkens without it hurting him too much as well. This is going to get kind of nutty, because the lings are going to put a bit of damage onto these spores, and then the mutas can also have a field day. If he does kill that spore, it's going to really open up this main base defense. They're going to jump on that, pick it off before the other spore is actually finished up. Now there's not going to be total safety in this main base anymore. He's going to quickly snipe a few drones until the spore finishes up, and now Sting can't mine from these bottom mineral patches so easily anymore until he makes another one.
Yeah, this is a good move from the double Zerg squad, utilizing the Massling here from Ivan in combination with the mutas of Vandelay. Has done a lot of damage here, really slowed down Sting. He's not going to be nearly as impactful as what Ivan can be in this game, that's for sure. He's just got so much more around here on these Marines, but the Lings actually help out pretty well. Sting combining his army with these Marines. Is there a push somewhere that they can do? It feels like there's Sunkens everywhere to defend this.
The Sunkens are only slightly in good enough position to save the hatchery. If they kill, say, like the top Sunken, they could kill the hatchery without having to break the other Sunkens, but it's not great. It is good that the Terran and the Zerg are able to work together a little bit here, but the Mulet's control of Vandelay good enough that they're still shaving off a few of these Lings of Sting, making this bio more and more vulnerable to eventually being swallowed up again.
Still powering up here. That +1 coming online. Locks it. Might be able to do something, but he's going to need his allies' assistance. He's going to need extra Lings, because Ivan will be slamming out Lings like crazy. He's taking a third base, Shun. He's taking a third base during this. Is that really necessary? A bit of a win more move. We'll see if it bites him in the end.
He's turning Vandelay into a supporting role who's going to just, maintain map control with this superior Mutalisk flock, and he's going to go macro to make sure he can keep up with the Terran the longer this game goes on. He's getting his own lair upgrade online. He's getting access to a second gas by taking that third base now. So it is kind of necessary to guarantee not letting the Terran outscale him. I think it will really help out in the long game, having that much of a powerful economy as well as getting his tech online with that second gas availability. Yeah, I think this is almost necessary to kind of guarantee the game state for the two Zergs. You don't want to risk just being able to dominate the Terran Zerg with map control alone. I do like it.
And now a counter coming up towards top right. Bio is going to head down, looks like towards that red player. But a lot of mutas moving up here to the north. Every time the Lings come forward, Vandelay's jumping on top of them and just getting lots of free kills. Make it really, really hard for Sting to help out at all. Run by here towards the natural. Still a lot of bio is ready. That's becoming a pretty large group of bio. That's a lot of medics in there as well. So there is a potential, while this lurker aspect is coming online, that Ivan, he's not really going to have much to assist his ally. Maybe he can come down here. Maybe Loxa can come down and kill the red player while this transition is happening.
I think that's the play, because the Sunkens are kind of split in the main base of Vandelay, so you only really have to fight two of them at a time. You can kind of kill the Spire and the Gas after killing the top two Sunkens. You should probably go for something like that. I don't think you're breaking Ivan. He's got 5 Sunkens with Lurkers on the way in a little bit here. Maybe he feels like he has a timing. He actually is moving over to Ivan, but yeah, 5 Sunkens with an Evolution Chamber blocking is not super breakable, but he has got enough to break it technically, as long as there's nothing helping out from Vandelay. And the mutas are a little bit out of position. Maybe he does want to pull the trigger on breaking this before he can start to morph lurkers. Lurker aspect isn't quite done yet, but it will be soon. He's making additional creep colonies just in case the Terran decides to pull the trigger. I do think it would have been a better play for Locket to come down here into the bottom left and try and attack Vandelay instead, but he seems to think that being over here outside Ivan's base is the answer. I'm not so sure it is.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this. I feel like you can just start building tanks back at home and get into vessels. And after you kill the red player, you know, get into Irradiate and all that. Maybe, okay, he's changing his mind. Too many Sunkens made over there. Looks like he will go to bottom left. And I think that he can actually get the kill here. It's going to be a while before Ivan is able to come over and assist. And even if he does, running up behind a bio army and trying to burrow, it's tough. If he's just stims and guns down the lurkers one by one, you're going to lose your entire army. You're going to lose all your lurkers. And you can see right there the difficulty of getting lurkers into a good position to actually fight this bio. But not making a decision, I think, is the worst decision here. Not going for Vandelay or going for Ivan is just allowing the two of them to power up even further.
Yeah, and Vandelay can go on the aggressive now. There is a little bit of bio here, Vessel, but I don't think it's got energy. Just maybe has just barely got enough for an Irradiate. There's the Irradiate. That's actually a pretty good one because he's not splitting it out quickly enough. He doesn't do loads of damage, but enough to ward away that flock of mutas. He's actually got a lot more than one control group. He had about 16 or 17 mutas or so. Some of them bite the dust, and they're very softened up after that Irradiate. I do think that there was a bit of a mistiming. Locket could have came down here and do a lot of damage to Vandelay, but I think that window is starting to close on him. Ivan's kind of powering up now as well. I guess they forced a lot of Sunkens out of Ivan, so it slowed him down ever so slightly and getting online with that massive production on those 3 bases, but he's now starting to do it.
Man, where is the tank? Where is the tank? We need tanks. Also, when these mutas got so badly damaged, right? He did a great Irradiate there. I'm surprised that he didn't immediately head towards bottom left. Go and take the fight. Yeah. Force the mutas to fight and just kill them all. Because if you did engage here from the top, it's really hard for the Sunkens to fight. You have to save the gas. And so he would force the engage. And that would put him in a great position. Ivan does not really have much air defense. So he can actually come over here and start to cause quite a bit of a problem. And it will be up to Vandelay to protect Ivan, which he can't really do right now. I mean, he should be going for drones. It's crazy that he's not going to try to kill drones. He's going to try to kill sunken colonies of all things. He's going after him right now, trying to get the kills on those. Going after the lurkers actually would be the best choice. Try to kill these lurkers right now because I think he can see them with the vessels. Okay, here comes the mutas. Is he going to throw down the irradiates here? Doesn't have any Scourge to actually fight that. I mean, this is a pretty good combo, right? You come forward, you kill the lurkers with the mutas, and then if any mutas of his opponent comes out, you can just throw some irradiates on them. As long as Ivan gets some spore colonies out, though, he should be able to deal with this. Putting the overlords over top of that is really helping him out as well, though. Let's see. This is a really weird situation, a very tentative situation. There is a possibility that these two can actually break this very heavily defended position, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is some of the most amount of sunken colonies we've seen in a long time, because Vandelay was very well aware and was agreeing with us in the sense of he knew there was a chance that Locket could have come down and do a lot of damage, but a bit of a counterattack from Vandelay, just trying to see if he can overwhelm the spores of Sting before the mutas can get back home, or the vessels can help out. Does take out 2 of them, but he's not quite got overwhelming numbers to wipe out all of the spores and be safe against the vessels showing up a little bit belatedly. Bio units kind of meeting with the mutas in transit as they come up to the top right here to help out and defend against those counterattacks, helping Sting get a base online. He actually tried to ninja expand towards this gas location in the 9 o'clock, but that got shut down by Vandelay. So he desperately needs to get an expansion online. Getting a tactical snipe on this lurker positioning now doesn't quite kill them. They can be shuffled around. Such a weird 2v2 that we're having at the moment, Sam.
Very weird indeed. I think that targeting down the lurkers here would be amazing. If he could just go for that with the mutas, target down those lurkers, then maybe the bio could just break this. However, that's so many sunkens now. It's kind of crazy. A bunch more radiates go down, and so the mutas are becoming much more soft, much more difficult to hold on to this position. And there's only one spore, so actually if he just irradiates a lot, then maybe the mutas could just fight here. Maybe the mutas could just fight this, and then once the mutas are dead, then you can just kill all the spores and all the drones without any further problem. Just gonna contain over at this base, prevent Ivan from coming out. He's actually got Hive done. I don't see a Defiler mound though. That should be the next thing from Ivan.
Yeah, most likely. He's throwing that down just now, actually. Finally getting that Defiler mound. That's going to be the linchpin in this game. He can start to be more hyper-aggressive and essentially impenetrable against the bio units. I mean, he's just relying on irradiates. This is pretty much pure SK Terran style from Lockett. And he hasn't found a strong way of coming down here and punishing Vandalay pretty much all game long. And he's almost lost that window. There's now Scourge as well to snipe those vessels potentially and help seize more air control away from Sting coming in and helping out too much. There is a way that Terran can break these Sunkens that are a little bit precariously positioned. The Lurker's going to shuffle on over to the right of the gas here. Pretty good connections onto those bioforces. Tries to get a vessel kill, does get one, does get two. Pretty good cleanup here from Vandalay, just taking the wind out of the sails for the other team. And they're definitely not going to be able to break Ivan once those Defilers come out. So it looks like Vandalay and Ivan might be reigning supreme in this game, since they didn't find a timing attack window on coming down here and punishing Vandalay sooner.
Yeah, this is starting to look really bad. I thought that they were going to find some way in to killing one of these players. Like, they should be able to isolate Ivan by taking out Vandalay a little bit earlier, but they haven't been able to do that. And so now Ivan is going to get out of control. He's going to have so many Hydras. He's going to have Plague soon as well. Once Plague's online, these bioforces are going to melt, and as will all the mutas in the air. These guys not able to get in here. These Marines just getting wiped out, and so many vessels have fallen. I'm really losing hope for Lockett being able to do anything. He had a very good bio and a very good vessel count earlier, but these guys haven't been comboing very well. Like, there should be mutas here trying to help out with some of these attacks, right? Like, how's he going in to try to break these bases with...
Almost impossible.
Oh my gosh, without the mutas. I mean, like, look at this. Now, like, you cast an irradiate down on this, then the mutas can fight them and kind of wipe the floor with the enemy mutas, but he wasn't doing that. And now there's a Nidus. The Nidus comes through, the Defiler pops out. Now he can save his ally. Ivan has completely flipped this game now. There's no way to kill Vandalay any longer.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Ivan just knows what he needs to do to keep his opponent alive and thriving. Vandalay's going to take his expansion finally after predominantly being in a supporting role. Sting does have an expansion online. He is going into Hive with melee upgrades, so he'll have some help on the ground. The Cracklings can do a lot of heavy lifting against the Hydras under the Darkspawn, but not so good against the Lurkers. It looks like a bit of a counterattack from Sting, seeing if he can punish
this
Ivan
is a mineral
a little
only
bit while he's out of position. Yeah, this is mineral only, so he's only got 2 gases. But he has got a lot of gas banked up since he's predominantly making Hydras right now.
It's funny, when we saw earlier there was only 2 minerals there. I totally thought that that's all there was for a long time. I don't know why, but
some maps are like that. Some maps are actually like that back in the day, but not this one.
My brain is being overwhelmed, guys, by the complexity here in 2v2. Lings, I guess, do pretty good under Darkstorm, huh? He's going to push the Hydras away, and so that's not going to work out too well for him. I love Sting's use of Queens in just about every game. He's pulling these Queens out pretty often to try and get some value out of them. They did very well in that first game where they managed to make that huge comeback. Here comes an attack to the north. I don't see a Defiler with this, but it's still a pretty scary force when you got this many Lurkers and Hydras combined.
Yeah, the one thing going for the other team is that Loxit is actually getting not only his third base online already, but now going for a fourth. So he's double expanding. Maybe he can eventually help outscale against Ivan, but Zerg with Defilers and Hydras are just so efficient at trading. Good catch though on these Lurkers, a little bit out of position. He's going to do a pretty good job of helping out his teammate, but this hatchery might still go down to a target fire. Sting in a little bit of trouble, getting his third denied as well. Okay, the third actually still alive, but getting this hatchery kill in the natural is really painful. We'll have compensation with that mineral only, maybe still going up, but yeah, it doesn't look ideal for Sting and Loxit. He's going to have to really rely on his Terran teammate to carry this game.
I mean, Loxit's capable, that's for sure. We saw that game number 1. He is a big, bad, scary Terran player once he gets these extra bases online, so let's get some tanks out. We haven't seen that yet. He's just permanently relying on SK Terran, it seems. He's kind of missing some rounds of units, though, it seems. Maybe getting a little bit overwhelmed by how much is happening in this on this map right now. He's trying to push in multiple locations, but he's getting plagued. Huge plague there. Looks like he just went back to do a macro round and got plagued right in the face, so a bit unfortunate there. This army's going to go down so quickly now. It's just going to absolutely melt. There's another plague to try and remove this. Still, denying extra bases for Vandalay. That's pretty good because he's got more bases coming online. And his ally is able to mine off of a second base here, trying to get this third base reestablished as well. So, on the whole, I think they're mining a lot more than the double Zerg squad.
Yeah, I think the longer this goes on, the more chance there is for coming back in this game. Sting is doing a great combination, like you were saying, with the Queens. He tried to get a plague on that flock of mutas as it was exiting. But yeah, there is still some counterplay for Loxit with that massive of expansions, and they're actually going to tap out. Vandalay is just tilting and actually going to be just leaving the game and kind of leaving Ivan to his own devices. I bet you Ivan is kind of scratching his head a little bit, being like, hang on a minute, I could just plague the mutas and you'd be fine. Like, why are you leaving the game?
That's crazy. Definitely tilted here. Ivan going to go his own way now and try to hang on in this game. Like, there was still chances. There were still opportunities to win this. And he was able to get over here and kind of help his opponent try to get another base online. And yeah, there's the plague. Look at that. He hits every single muta here.
Can't believe he left the game, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. And we're still going to have another one after this, right? Because it's not over.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. There's definitely good chemistry between them in terms of how they coordinate. But it does seem like Vandalay's a bit of a tilter. Like, he seems like a bit more of an emotional player. It's kind of crazy to me. Like, I feel like if Vandalay could just keep a cooler head, they'd be a much stronger team. Because they've been playing pretty good. It's just that small things that go wrong seem to get under Vandalay's skin a little bit. I think they were fine in this game. We're actually going to see nukes from the Terran. That's going to be hilarious to see a nuke come down onto that sunken line eventually. They're going to go out with style points if Ivan does try and stay into this.
Yeah, I mean, he might just leave when he sees the nuke is coming. We'll see. That's a great way to end. There's the two ghosts coming out here as well. He's getting ocular implants, get that range upgrade so the ghost can survive the nuke. And, I mean, there's a little poking going on right now. You can get some plagues going. You can do a little damage here and there, but the writing is on the wall here. I wonder, is he going to go for a Greater Spire? No, not going to go for a Greater Spire. That's one way you can make use of your mutas after they've been plagued, is just make them into Guardians and then just kind of harass. That does allow you to get some good value. And also, there's no Spire. So, yeah, there's nothing that Ivan can do about that. If you just make Guardians here and deny mining, it's pretty rough. Yeah. I guess you can keep spamming Dark Swarm, but yeah.
Yeah, you can Dark Swarm your drones, but they can still get a tactical snipe on the hatchery. It's not ideal. There's that first nuclear launch detected. kind of insane. Going to be hitting that sunken wall like I thought he would be. Softening up Ivan to expose the soft underbelly. He does still have Defilers. He's not dead, but this is going to get rougher and rougher, especially with Sting on 3 bases. Look at how much damage it does. It's so insane.
Ooh. Nice one. We'll love to see it. Defiler here doesn't have any energy, but still going to make some headway. Lings come out. How many armor upgrades does he have? He doesn't have any. So +3 Hydras are actually amazing against this. +3 Hydras doing really, really well because the Lings do almost no damage. I mean, they got +1, but they're only doing, what, 3 damage a hit? And the Hydras are doing a lot. So, I mean, they do half damage, but they still cleave through pretty quickly. However, the Bio getting in and breaking down the door. Can't win by just killing the Zerg here. You have to kill both players, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that. Not while keeping his base alive.
Yeah, the Terran securing 4 bases that early make this job almost impossible for Ivan. Maybe it's doable if Vandelay stayed in the game, got an expansion online, and helped out a little bit in killing the mutas off once they got plagued and what have you. He GG's as the second nuke comes down onto that base. There's just no answer to it. A really fun series, and we're going the distance now because we're all tied up, right? 2 games apiece. Well, spawning in the top left as Terran, he really knows how to lock it down. Locks it.
Sting, actually.
Oh, my bad, Sting.
Wait, what?
I'm so confused. What's going on with the races?
Oh my goodness. Locks it?
Is he on random as well? Is he on random as well? And they've just been getting lucky getting Terran every time? That's not, surely not.
Surely not. Ivan gonna be playing Terran. Vandalay playing Zerg. Well, Vandalay's gonna be the only one staying true to his race. I guess the rules of the show match are a little different than we were thinking.
Maybe that's it. Maybe in the show match, there's no specification on what race you play. So maybe there is some race picking going on. I'm not so sure about that. I'll have to ask Fliz after the fact. But yeah, either they've gotten super lucky with random, or there's definitely some race picking going on, because now we've got a TZ v TZ. Down here in the bottom right, Ivan asking some questions about what they should be going for here. This is Iron Curtain, by the way. It's one of the oldest 2v2 maps in history, but it's one of the most played 2v2 maps. You see there's like this massive wall off, so it's basically a semi-island situation, unless you get your teammate on the same side of you, which you usually do. It's kind of crazy though, because you can obviously like jump things over these mineral patches and still proxy and stuff like that. It's actually a really wild map. It was the most popular 2v2 map back in the early Pro League days.
Didn't we have something in the ASL at some point where there was 2v2 on this map? I feel like there was, no, wait, that was something else. I'm thinking of something else. What the heck was it called? That was a long time ago. I used to cast a different series way back in the day. And I can't remember exactly what it was called. I'll have to look it up after this game to figure out exactly what it was. But I remember Korean pros playing on this map, and this was a crazy one, man. This is a really crazy one with some very unique things. Like, yes, you can just go 1 versus 1 on either side of the map, but you can also do funky things like hop vultures over walls and do all kinds of weird stuff to try and get onto the other side of the map to kind of help out your opponent and that sort of thing. But for now, it is going to be kind of a 1 versus 1, and there's just 2 Rex coming down here. 1 Rex floating for Ivan. Ivan, I think you might be in a little bit of trouble here, my friend. He saw the links, did he not? He might be just losing these Marines, and he only has a factory, 70% done. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive this.
I mean, the factory is just about to finish, but the Lings are going to be able to surround the Vulture as it pops out. If they can quickly chew through this supply depot, this is going to get insane. If anything, the Overlord was kind of baiting those Marines into this situation. He can repair the supply depot if he's quickly enough with these SCVs to get on top of that. Does get 3, does get 4. Okay, he's gonna barely hang on for this vulture to pop out. It's 4 SCVs are basically the same repair speed as 6 lings do damage. So he actually does hold on by a thread. He's gonna hop over them. This is some Nada-esque style that we're seeing right now.
What in the heck am I looking at? Marines are gonna come over here and try to help out against Sting, who's going into some medics here. He's not got them out just yet, and so there's an opportunity to dive in here, try to get some damage. Maybe he combines with those Marines and actually kills off the Green Marines. Supply depot goes down. Now he can't make medics. He actually needs to wait for another supply depot to finish. So bit of a dangerous spot here for Sting. Is he actually going to survive this? I think I might be throwing down a panic bunker at this moment if I were Sting. Just making sure that you don't die at this critical juncture is very important, and he really can't build anything right now.
Yeah, it's super interesting because every 2v2 I've casted on this map, they've been on the same side. So you've seen like proxies and stuff, but we were seeing one of the variations where they are locked into like 2 1v1s on either side of the map. Kind of insanity going on right now. Ivan's also pushing out with some vultures to see if he can get some tactical snipes on the drones of Loxit inside the main base. But the Lings are actually going to run by and see if they can do anything. But there's a full wall off, so they might not be super successful as long as he's quick with the repair and has some units popping out. Does have 1 vulture on the way to help defend. Vultures get inside the main base, but there's already Hydras to defend that. So this could go pretty good for Loxit still. If he can somehow knock out this depot before the repair comes in. The SCVs are coming off the line. Will they get there in time? Only 3 get onto that supply depot. So if he had maximum coverage with the Lings, it actually would go down, but he only had 5 attacking it.
Not quite able to break through. Ivan is hanging on nicely. Looks like he's gonna lose these vultures though. Not really paying attention to that for the time being. Those speedlings end up getting the kills they were looking for, and he's able to trade pretty well. The Hydras are coming out. Tank finishes. He's getting mines. Oh gosh, he needs siege mode. He needs siege mode, Shun.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he can kind of tactically snipe those Hydras from inside his wall without siege mode, but with siege mode, he's going to be a lot safer. Meanwhile, we've got a Spire finished up for Vandalay, but hasn't got that many. Okay, actually has got enough Mutaling to be fine here against the Bioforce as long as he engages well. The second Sunken on the left, though, not quite finished. Is there a timing for Sting to punish this? Needs to be careful with how he engages. The medics are lagging behind. He's going to pounce on the Sunken prematurely, so the medics aren't in good enough position, so he easily overwhelms the bio with the Mutaling, actually. And yeah, suddenly this doesn't look that good for Sting. At the moment, overall, Ivan and Vandalay looking like they're in a pretty good spot so far.
I'm surprised he didn't attack with these Hydras. Could have come over here and maybe, you know, gunned down the wall, maybe dove on a tank. But, I mean, he's going to wait for siege mode to be done. So, these Hydras are really not going to get too much going for Loxit. And Sting is in a lot of trouble now. The dive there on the Sunken Colony did not pay off. And, yeah, a lot of SCVs are going to go down. He's trying to get this starport out. You know, maybe go into a Valkyrie or something like that, but this is looking a little bit tough. Now, one thing to mention, this is 1 base versus 1 base. I guess he was accidentally hit the enter key or something like that, and he's trying to hit A. Not really sure what happened there, but yeah. One base versus 1 base, it's kind of favored for a Terran player, right? Like, if you don't have that second gas, eventually he's going to overwhelm you with bio.
I think so, yeah. 1 base is definitely more advantage to Terran. Vandalay just needs to keep playing run around, and every time the bio's out of position, keep hitting his SCV line over and over again. That's definitely the ticket to getting a big lead over Sting here in the top left, trying to get his starport online, but having a bit of a hard time with these mutas running rings around him. He's hopping over tanks with this barracks. I love this map. There's just so much possible creativity that can come out of it, but Needs to also be careful it doesn't get spotted later on and intercepted, but there's nothing to catch it. I mean, Loxit has been very passive with his own Hydras, so he's not had any opportunities to punish what Ivan's going for here. Ivan's getting super sneaky with these tanks, and no one's even scouting it.
Yeah, I mean, now that he's got these tanks over here, that's completely freed up Vandalay to go over and deal some damage to Loxit. I think these guys are going to end up winning. The plans from Ivan really coming in clutch here. Like, he is pulling off some really good moves here, and Loxit just hasn't been able to deny him. He hasn't been able to slow him down, deal any damage to him. Aside from a little bit of damage to that supply depot at the front, there were opportunities and there was definitely moments there where I thought that we were going to see Loxit attack in and Ivan have a really hard time holding on, maybe even die, but just none of those opportunities were capitalized upon. And now, I mean, he could fly right in here. You could kill so many drones. You can just kind of ignore the Spore Colony, kill like 7-8 drones and fly out, and you're probably only going to lose a Muta, just completely crippling the Zerg player for your opponent to just allow Ivan to completely overwhelm and destroy him, while back at home you're completely safe against your opposing Terran player because of these tanks.
I mean, Loxit does have more production capability of the second and hatchery, but he's not really able to do much with it, unfortunately. Ivan's kind of locked down and has no threat felt by those Hydras, and the Mutalist still Vandalay having a bit of a field day, just running around and sniping stuff. Killing that gas is huge. Ivan's going to be that much stronger coming out with these tanks and Goliaths. There is a little bit of a banked up gas for Loxit, so losing the gas doesn't feel too terrible. He's got a third hatchery on the way, and he's taking his expansion as well, so he will have 4 hatchery production soon. But the Mutas are just having a field day with the Hydras. The Hydras are just not a good counter option to the Muta play, and a big drop from Sting actually does come down here to tactically snipe that Spire and the pool. Can they turn this game around by doing a lot of damage to Vandalay?
Time to tap out. Vandalay just gonna leave the game. Oh my gosh. Oh man, this sucks.
With tanks, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. I wouldn't be surprised. You told me to send my Mutas over to Loxit.
I also like to think that he didn't accidentally press enter. He was just screaming earlier on. Like, ah!
So frustrated with the turn of events. Oh my gosh, the drop that could have been pretty successful in dealing quite a lot of damage turns out to do absolutely nothing. And look at this. Just gonna dive on this with Mutas, and this double drop is really gonna be costly. Okay, actually, you know what? These Marines do pretty decent against all the Mutas. He clears out a lot of those. It's hard to replace these now.
If only the Goliaths had Karen boosters, they would have helped out a little bit against the Mutas, but they just don't have the range to.
Well, the Mutas are on his team. The Mutas are in his team.
Oh yeah, my bad.
I know it's hard. It's hard,
especially with the race switching as well. I'm so like confused and keeping up with who's who.
Yes, the Marines are on the opposing side of these Goliaths, and so he was able to drive that back. I thought he was going to be able to get in there and do a little damage, but look at that. Even mines set up back here behind the mineral line. So even if you drop on top of that, could be an absolute disaster. I mean, you never see Terran dropping Marines in TVT, so we never get that interaction, but it's deadly. Like, the Marines just absolutely disintegrate to those mines.
Yeah. Well, these Hydras can overwhelm the Goliaths, but not once the tanks get here and show up in force with the siege mode as well. Is Loxit going to be in trouble here? He's not got that many Mutas in the sky. He's got 7. It's getting to a reasonable number. It will take a little bit longer for him to be able to overwhelm this tank Goliath. Needs to buy a little bit of time to squeeze out more units to deal with this. A bit of a scan there from Sting to identify exactly what they're up against. Vandalay's also coming in here with his Mutas to help out, negate some of the air support from the Mutas of Loxit here. See if they can slowly encroach on this Zerg natural expansion with the tank shuffling up. They might be able to overwhelm this despite Luxic going for that muta switch.
Yeah, I mean, Sting just can't help. He can't help here. He's got nothing to do but just kind of hang out in the middle. Like he's trying to drop over the wall to eventually get over here and get some to be able to do something. But Scourge come through. They get some great connections. Even though there's way more mutas for Loxit at the beginning of this fight, now all the mutas are dead, and there's still a few tanks here to try and help out. He's still trying to move over. It's taking so long to move this army, but he's trying desperately to get over here to actually help his ally. He needs that assistance right now, or he's going to end up losing that base. I think he's going to get it, but maybe barely, not in enough time.
I mean, he's done a good job of delaying and buying some time for himself. Here comes the science vessels of Sting to help out Loxit here. Doing a good job. And now there's not much air defense, so maybe with just a few mutalisks he could also overwhelm this. But either way, I think he just barely survives. But he's so close to losing this hatchery, he kind of has to go now before it gets shot down. Looks like he is going to be clearing this out. What a good hold here. Kind of insane that Sting and Ivan have been able to keep this hatchery alive. Does keep Loxit in the game, and we're going to have a very interesting 2v2 on our hands now, Sam.
Yeah, this is getting a little weird. Still making bio, still going tanks. Bio tank, not the greatest against the full mech. I think the full mech is a lot better. Long game is a much better long game proposition. Even going to be getting upgrades now. But you know what? Vessel, it's great. It's awesome. Vessel is fantastic. Even with just putting the D-matrices on your tanks is going to help them fight a lot against the meching players. So, you know, we'll see how this goes. Like, you know, bios doesn't sound very good, but maybe it's just enough to help these guys come back and make this into a great game. It's pretty even right now. I would say Loxic a little bit ahead of Vandalay, but definitely Ivan has a bit of an advantage over Sting. Getting those names correctly, I sure hope so.
And also Vandalay has a little bit more map control. He's getting air carapace upgrades for his mutas. So, oh, that's terrible, losing vessels right now. Is he gonna lose all three? That's insane. That's a big tempo swing going in the way of Ivan and Vandalay right now. And Mutalisk intercept the drop attempt from Sting. Suddenly Vandalay and Ivan looking very potent in this game as Ivan also starts to encroach upon the Terran's natural expansion. He's got 2 siege tanks containing, and with the air support of Vandalay, it's going to be really tough for Sting to hold on much longer. It looks like Loxic going to be trying to break out, seeing if he can do something to Ivan while he still can and play distraction, make it harder for them to start 2v1ing Sting in the top left. If he can somehow overwhelm the meching Terran, this game could turn around.
Yeah, he's actually overwhelming this army pretty handily. There's not a lot over here. Quite a few units have been sent to try and assist his ally on the other side. So there's potential here for this push to keep going and roll right up into the natural. There's only one tank. One tank should not many forces besides that. Marines are going to come down here too. If he just pulls the trigger right now, the Marines are actually, it's funny, the medics are actually going to help out a lot by healing up the Hydras as well. And he's going to start to push this back. That's crazy. But all these mutas are going to come over here. He hits the G button. It's time to go. Hydras are in large number. They're going to fight this back pretty handily. And there's just not enough for Ivan. He can't even really assist here in the air battle. Vandalay picks off the remainder of the Marines, but the medics are still going to be useful at helping out these Hydras.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to synergize them because obviously you got to keep manually chasing the Hydras to stay with them, so it's hard for them to coordinate that effort. He's actually going to try, is he going to get his tanks towards the middle here and see if he can snipe the Hydras over the wall? Looks like he's going to try and set that up here now and utilize these tanks instead of containing to shut down Sting, trying to drop again inside the main base of Vandalay. Vandalay shutting that down very quickly with his own Mutalisks, though. They've tried a lot to shut down Vandalay with those drops, but not being successful. All of the medics going absolutely splat. Now it's just a few mutas and predominantly Hydras against a lot of tanks set up here. The 2 tanks on the other side of that mineral wall could be making it almost impossible to attack into. He's going to be expanding towards this mineral only that's acting also as a wall separating the center. You can see there's a significant upgrade advantage for the team Ivan and Vandelay here. +1 air carapace as well as +1 weapons on that mech as well. Whereas not many upgrades on the other side of things of Loxit and Sting. So they're definitely outscaling them so far with those upgrades and will encroach upon this position. Some tanks from Sting coming to help out, see if he can hold the line, stopping this meching Terran from breaking up here to deny this base. And a tank trying to hit from the other side of the wall, but it does get taken up by the tanks of Sting. Good usage of the muta Hydra to try and shut this down, but Vandelay shows up with all of his mutas. He's going to easily overwhelm Loxit now.
Wow, Vandelay somehow managed to put together this many mutas when he's been losing over and over again. His mining in the main base has been constantly harassed. But, I mean, those earlier losses on the science vessels are making a huge difference now, right? If he still had those science vessels from earlier,
yeah,
those
100%.
extra radiates would have made such a big difference in these muta-on-muta fights. And, yeah, he's just not going to be able to do it. Not going to be able to hold on to this third base. Everything's been pushed back, and the writing is on the wall now for the Loxit and Sting team. More tanks sieging up over this wall, looking for a little bit of damage here, trying to help his partner from afar, but the army combination here is still going to be rolling northward, and I really don't see much here for Loxit to help defend.
Yeah, I think the upgrade advantage is going to be really tough as well. They're already in a precarious situation, and it's only going to be compounded by the upgrade difference between these two. Obviously, +2 weapons would be an even massive difference because you can start 2-shotting tanks as well. But with the air support of the mutas, you're not as worried about those things in 2v2 compared to 1v1. Good snipe on that tank from Vandelay, being super active with these mutalists. I think it's really funny, by the way, that Ivan took the time to tell Vandelay that the dropship was on 40 HP. Imagine just stopping macro, stopping micro, and just telling your opponent to do something specifically. Kind of insane they don't use voice communications in 2025, but they like to do it the old school way. Starting to break into the natural of Loxit now. The mutas are kind of acting as a tanking force. The Hydras do half damage to them since they're a small unit type, and helping the tanks kind of reigning supreme on the ground, getting closer and closer to eventually knocking out this hatchery. The writing is on the wall for Loxit right now. Sting is not able to assist his ally, and that's starting to become a big problem.
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of understand it more now after watching these guys play, why they're not doing the voice communication thing. I think that it's probably tilting for Vandelay to listen. Probably tilting for him to listen to the constant chatter from Ivan. I can see it. I can understand it. But regardless, we're gonna have a counter here from Sting. He's got to kill. He's got to kill Vandelay now, because his Zerg partner is going down. He's not going to be able to survive. We have to kill the other Zerg so that a 1v1 can occur. Otherwise, this game is going to be over.
Yeah, Sting is doing a big counterattack to Vandelay right now, seeing if he can help indirectly by putting a lot of pressure onto the Zerg in the bottom left. With some good Mulis micro, though, he can start to snipe some of these tanks, but who knows, maybe he can overwhelm Vandelay slowly but surely. Still got a decent amount of bio, but loses all but one tank thus far. Doesn't feel good. Meanwhile, Ivan has a lot of bases coming online. He's got a third base, he's got a fourth just landing at the center as well. This doesn't look super good for the other two players. Loxit is pretty much out of this game. Vandelay's taking a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. If he just holds the line, eventually Ivan will be able to clean up for him the longer this goes on. Mecha's just superior to Bio the longer the game goes on. We got 1-1 upgrades now for Ivan as well. And the Mutalisks are holding the line against this force. He doesn't even lose the hatchery. Kind of insane. Do you know what, Zayn? 2v2 kind of feels like rally car racing. When like you've got like your guy next to you kind of like shouting at you like triple caution jump, and the other guy's like, shut up, let me drive.
Oh, now Vandelay is talking some trash, it seems like, calling out to Loxit. I mean, what can you expect? 2v2, come on. This is
Crazy.
where the game. This is pure BattleNet behavior we're seeing right now. This is the essence of the game that we know and love, guys. GG. This series has ended, but it was a fantastic one. In the end, Ivan and Vandalay, despite the tilt, despite the back and forth in the chat, have managed to come out victorious here on this final map.
I think they were the better team as well, saying there was a little bit of tilt from Vandalay messing things up, I would say. But overall, they just played so good as a bit of a dynamic duo. The Zeki and Voodoo game against Kiss and Moonlight was a lot more one-sided. They just seemed like a better team and better players overall, but it was still a pretty fun series to watch. Whereas this set of games between Ivan Vandalay against Sting and Loxit, it's kind of insane. Like, the game number 1 especially was absolutely fireworks. And the rest of the series didn't disappoint as well. Probably one of the better 2v2 series we've ever had in the SLON. There's been a few good ones, but that was pretty special. And I'm glad to be alongside you, saying in the casting booth to kind of, break you in a bit with the 2v2 scene. I'm sure you learned a lot about 2v2 just from watching that.
Yeah, I've played some 2v2, but I've never gone very deep into it. I know there's a scene, and guys, Shun has been casting 2v2, not just a show match, but a full tournament is going on right now. And so I'm sure he can drop the links in the chat for you guys. The SLON 2v2 tournament, it's ongoing right now. I think they're getting near the end of it, right, Shun? Like, what, round of 4 or something? Round of 6? Something, round of 8? I don't know what they're at.
Yeah, we're approaching. There is another caster team that's helping out as well. It's me and Crazy, and Nevane is also doing some casting. It's been a really crazy, fun tournament. Actually, guys, don't look at the Liquipedia page I just put a link at in the YouTube chat. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see that link. I'm not sure if Saiyan's got it, so I can post links. But actually, don't check the Liquipedia link because you'll get spoilers since we are casting from replay. But we put out this quite regularly. The Crazy Citizens stream on Twitch is where I do my cast live for this. If you want to come check that out. We'll actually be probably doing some more soon. I'm not sure if we're doing that tomorrow or when. Let me have a quick check on my Discord. Apparently tomorrow is fine. Yeah, I think we are going to be doing some more 2v2 casts tomorrow as well, if you want to come and check that out. I will be spamming out links on Discords. So if you guys are on some of the Starcraft Discords, you'll probably see a link in one of those stream chats about that going live as well. It's been a really fun tournament all around. I'm so happy we've got more 2v2 in StarCraft. There's always these guys playing these matches behind the scenes, but you guys don't see a lot of that. So I'm glad that Flizzardo is putting this together and bringing you guys some more of these great 2v2 games. And I'm so happy that Saiyan is able to join me here today because I cast a lot of stuff with him as well. We do the ASL, the SCSL, bunch of other stuff, KCM on his channel over at SaiyanKCM. If you want to come check that out, we do a lot of 1v1 casting together as well as I'll do the BSL and IPSL on top of that. But yeah, we do a lot of casting together, and he's never done 2v2. I've only recently started to get into 2v2 casting, and I do like it. How would you feel about it?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I definitely a mix-up in comparison to what I'm used to. The 1v1 meta is pretty solid. There are big switch-ups now and then, but you could just see how crazy 2v2 can get. I think the highlight here for me tonight was dropping Dark Archons to Maelstrom the flock of mutas so the other mutalist group can win. I think that was pretty insane. That move was crazy. More craziness is possible, I think, in 2v2 just in general because of the variance in the different matchups.
Yeah, I really do like it, man. It's just so much more intense and spicy, kind of insane. I love it so much. It's really hard to keep up with, especially with these guys. Like, I don't know if they're race picking or playing random. I have no idea. But it was super fun either way. And I hope we get to do this again, Say. And I hope you join me for more 2v2 casts in the future. I think Flizz is okay if you uploading that to your YouTube as well. So I'm sure more and more of you guys will be able to watch that in VOD demand, especially guys that didn't get to get on the live cast. That's going to be super fun introducing these guys to 2v2 as well as 1v1.
Yeah, like I said, I've had some people ask me about 2v2 and, you know, if there's a scene for it or anything. Happy to say that there definitely is. And if this is your introduction to it, all the better. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're in the live chat or the YouTube video later, I really appreciate you all. The Patreons for Shun and myself. And if you're watching later on YouTube, check the description. I'll put the links down for the Twitch where you can watch Shun cast the SLON tour, the full tournament. And I'll also put the link for the Wikipedia page, but don't click it unless you are not worried about getting spoiled. It's still ongoing right now, and they're not quite at the finals, so it'll be a fun thing to check out live and see the finals of that tour. Lots of great players in there, players like Bonnet, players like Ziki, other great players from the BSL. It's awesome. Starcraft is awesome. You guys are awesome. Shun, you're awesome too. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.
One more thing, Sam, before we wrap up. You're awesome as well, buddy. I want to do like a Keanu Reeves thing and be like, no, you're awesome. But one more thing. Yeah, we do have a Patreon page. If you want to go to SaiyanXun Duocast on Patreon, that's SAIYANXUN Duocast. You can support us on Patreon. There'll also be a link in the YouTube VOD down below if you do want to support what we do. We cast a lot together and we love to bring you StarCraft action, and we appreciate you guys showing up and chatting and enjoying these great games with us, and we hope to bring you more in the future. Thanks, guys.